They sold us the illusion of democracy and freedom. Now they worried that this channel, this voice, this word has the power of healing and unleashing all the demons fed through TV and through lies. They rule by secrecy. Why do you think justice is blind? Riddle me that. Riddle me this. Riddle me that. Why do you think that justice is blind? You know the statue, right? The statue of justice. You know, she's not legally blind. She's being blindfolded. See, that's a big difference. There's a big difference in all this. You know, we're ending a cycle. Every day is a cycle. Every week is a cycle. Every month is a cycle. And every year is a cycle. And then so on and so forth. We got jubilees and different type of calendars and different type of cycles. We're ending a cycle for some today, for some tomorrow, for some sometime this week. But when there is an end, there is also a beginning. End, beginning, it's all the same. So I salute to those who find the channel, find the algorithm, find time, because time is a blessing, and tap in. And I hope you reach your higher self in higher realms, because you know, this realm ain't all that. You know, it's ruled by, you know, some degenerates. It's ruled by some some foul scoundrels, down and dirty, rotten. But it is what it is, and we are here. So we make the best of it.
A conspiracy theorist by now, it's because you are not. Let me tell you, if you are not a conspiracy theorist by now, it's because you are not intelligent.
They wasn't ready for this back then. They probably not ready for it now. Those that sleep forever gonna be sleep. Those that woke, woke. Yo soy la reencarnación de Tupac Amaru. Wait, what? De Tupac Amaru. Tupac. Yo soy la reencarnación de Tupac Amaru. That's lit. De Tupac Amaru. Gang. Each one takes time to succeed. This one is dedicated for the children of the sun. Each one takes time to succeed. This one is dedicated for the children of the sun. They sold us the illusion of democracy and freedom. Now they worry that my music has the power of healing. Unleashing all the demons fed through TV and through lies. They rule by secrecy. Why do you think justice blind? Each one takes time to succeed. This one is dedicated for the children of the sun. Each one takes time to succeed. This one is dedicated for the children of the sun. They sold us the illusion of democracy and freedom. Now they worry that my music has the power of healing. Unleashing all the demons fed through TV and through lies. They rule by secrecy. Why do you think justice blind? Each one takes time to succeed. This one is dedicated for the children of the sun. Each one takes time to succeed. This one is dedicated for the children of the sun.
What's up with the brother Vlad?
Yo,
Can you
yo,
hear
what's
me?
up, my bro?
What's good with it?
Right here, you know what we do. You know how we do it. What's up with you,
How you?
man? How you been?
I'm good, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's a blessing to be here. You know what I mean? Tapping in, have another opportunity to put some work in, use the mind, expand the brain, and see what we can come up with and connect some dots, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, like what's on the play? What are we chopping up this time, bro? You know what you been
What
hearing out there?
Oh, it's there's what I mean, there's too much stuff, on a personal, I've been going in on just trying to find out the foundations of the Jewish, the so-called modern day Jews,
Uh,
just doing basic reading, you know what I mean, stuff that probably other people would find tedious and boring, you know what I mean. I just find it fascinating to know, that they were probably once just like us, trying to build a better way, you feel me, trying to figure shit out until they figured it out.
and you know what you're doing right now? You're
Tell you if
being
you are not a
holy,
conspiracy
like the Bible says. You know, which means set apart, being set apart from everybody else, bro. That's a holy that's a holy spirit you having right now. Just learning stuff and getting into things that other people don't get into. Like you was telling me earlier, like how when I made that video, you was like, "Oh man, you might have to chop it up into like a minute, into little reels and shorts, and because people don't even want to pay attention more than 2 minutes, bro. They don't.
Right.
They're just too distracted. So, yeah, that's what you're being right now. Just to let you know, you're being holy, bro. You're
i
being
mean
you're being
i mean
set
i
apart from everybody.
I gotta balance it out because I do agree with you. I am trying to be holy. Other people will find that like a knock, like, oh, you think you better, but you got to understand that back in the day I was devilish. You know what I mean? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I was doing the devil's work, ignorant or not. You know what I mean? Ignorance is not an excuse. If you go to court and you tell the judge, I didn't know. You know what I mean? The judge will just look at you stupid. You know what I mean? And tell you ignorance is
Hey,
not an excuse.
hey, but that shit do work for some of. And remember that dude, that little dude that he got drunk. He's like a little white boy, I guess, but he got drunk and he killed like a bunch of people. He was like a little rich white boy, and he went in there and he said that to the judge, like he didn't know no best, and they let that motherfucker go, bro.
Yeah, but you already said it. He was a little white boy, probably Jewish, probably connected, probably somebody's son. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
what one thing that I do want to express, just to whoever taps in and hears, and if not, it's just between us. And if not, what I mean, it's just me reminding myself, bro, this world is not fair. You know what I mean? Like we need to stop like trying to see everything fair, you know what I mean, and just understand that the chips are stacked against us, you know what I mean. So we don't want less problems, we want more skills, you know what I mean. We don't
yeah,
want, you know what I mean, less burdens, we want a stronger back. It's us that need to rise to the occasion, you know what I mean, because the opposition, you know what I mean, the beast, the enemy, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you had an enemy and he's your mortal enemy, you're gonna have a foot to his neck. You know what I mean? And you're gonna keep him down for as long as you can. You know what I mean? And you're not gonna let him try to get up ever. You know what I mean? So that's
yes,
where we
indeed.
at. You know what I mean?
Say,
So go
so
ahead.
like you gotta clarify, like who is we? Some people, they want to say he's talking about the brown people, or he's talking about, you
Yeah,
know, uh, the black and brown people. Or he's talking about the poor, the have-nots against the ones that have it. Like,
yeah.
like who are we talking to? I'm like I told you last time. Shit, it's the poor people against the rich. But there's a lot of sellouts in this poverty thing. It's a lot of sellouts. They don't
Look,
realize they're poor, bro. They really don't think they're poor. They think they can. They call themselves middle class and shit. So yeah, go ahead, my bro. Just asking that real quick.
No, that's a really good question because nowadays, everybody is in this, tribal type of understanding where, what I mean, you got to be black or you got to be Latino or you got to be in a religious group. And I do agree. We talked about this like last time, you know what I mean? Like gangs rule this earth, you know what I mean? Families, gangs, or tribes, you know what I mean? Anybody
Yeah,
just trying to be solo bolo, independently just by themselves, it's just like in jail, bro. You're not, it's gonna be a hard knock life for you, you know what I mean? And you
yeah,
and you better hope you're liked by somebody, you feel me? Or have angels on your side protecting you or something or someone looking over you. Because if not, you know what I mean? It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be a rough going. So, to your question, when I talk about we, from my understanding, this is not a black or white thing. You know what I mean? And it's not a rich or poor thing neither. You know what I mean? Because just like what you said, I didn't seen it many a times that poor people they want to be rich. You know what I mean? Poor
oh yeah,
people,
yeah, yeah.
poor people want to be rich. You feel me? Poor people, you know what I mean? They see people eating Kentucky Fried Chicken, and they never had Kentucky Fried Chicken, and they want Kentucky Fried Chicken. I don't want Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's why I went vegan. You feel me? I don't fuck with Kentucky Fried Chicken, Popeyes, Churches, Pollo Campero, or Pollo Loco, or any type of fucking chicken around the United States and around the world. You know what I mean? So,
Exactly.
you know, um, for one, it's if to me it's a vibe, bro. You know what I mean? It's about, you know, justice, knowing, what I mean, that there is an oppressor, you know what I mean, and whoever is feeling oppressed, you know what I mean. That's all it is. It's the oppressor and the not oppressed. You feel me? Because sometimes, just like in jail or in, like you can have a brother with you right on the side, right? But if the rich, if the oppressor who got money and power offers your brother money and power, so that brother that was right by your side, now he's your oppressor. The
Yeah,
dude that's right by your side, living in the same community that got your same skin color that you call, you know what I mean, your brother, you know what I mean, your skin folk, he's the oppressor now. You know what I mean? Now he don't want to see you with a new shirt or with new education. Now he's like, "Oh, you think you too good. Now you don't want to drink 40s with us no more, huh? Or now you don't want to
yeah,
get high with us no more."
yeah,
So we need to be really woke, you know what I mean? And also, speaking of woke, because I know some people be like, bro, rainbows are not gay. Let's get that right. You know what I mean? You know what I
hey,
mean?
but yeah,
Go ahead.
that's who's rocking it, right? So it's like, yeah, I get what you're saying. Rainbows in the Bible, man. Everything got turned upside down. They called even the Bible said, like I said to you last time. I don't rock with the Bible like that, but I use it as a tool, like you and I discussed that before.
Yeah, you can speak on it.
And the rainbow comes from the Bible, right? It was right after the Noah, the flood, and it was made for a sign. And they don't say it was made for a sign to be gay. And that's the way it is. They turn everything upside down. The Bible itself tells you
Who
that.
who turns
People
things
start calling
upside down? Who likes to
man
turn
does.
things upside down?
We do. Humanity.
No, but there's a specific type of people, there's a specific gang group that like to turn things upside down, that like to
Well,
flip shit.
I would say, that the one percenters, bro, the ones that have the power to do so, because you and I don't,
That
you
that's
know.
too that's too general though. That's too general because there's
So
a
yeah,
there's
that's yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
no. I'll just nip it in the bud, bro. The Satanists, they love to flip shit and they call it inverting. You know what I mean? So you got the cross. They like to flip it upside down, and that's their gang sign. You feel me? You got the pentagram. The pentagram has been used for protection. It's a five-pointed star. What did the Satanists do? They grabbed it, turned it upside down. Now it's a symbol of devil worship. You know what I mean? If it's flipped upside down.
So
And,
when
and
we're
go ahead.
yeah, go ahead. My bad. So
No,
I
go
mean,
ahead.
I was just gonna ask you a quick question. So when we're talking about Satanists and shit, I mean, are we talking about those dumb motherfuckers out there just walking, dressing like Gothics, or we talking about these fucking hidden societies and shit? Like, like, and it got to me, it goes back to those one percenters because I was just telling my wife, watch the rich people, even Donald Trump. They claim that they love Jesus and all that, but watch them when they go and have dinner, breakfast, whatever. Watch them on a TV show, even on reality shows. Do they ever even pray over their food like we do, us poor people? You know, these people don't. I never like they say God and all that shit, but I never really see him serving God. So who is the Satanist people? Are we talking about these people that look silly with black lipstick and shit, or are we talking about these people that that we don't even know, we don't even see? Who's the Satanist? That's what I mean. That's what I'm asking.
That's another good question. You know what I mean? Because I mean, basically, you're speaking for a lot of people. You know what I mean? With their perspective, and it's good to clear things up because we need to clear up our vocabulary. You feel me? If you say a word, I have to understand that word exactly how we're using it. You know what I mean? If you say gay, you know what I mean? To me, gay means homosexual activities. You feel me?
Yeah.
Gay, you know what I'm saying? Well, but look what the homosexuals did, you know what I mean, or the society did. Gay, what did gay used to mean in the language or the English language in the dictionary? If you look up gay, what's it supposed to
Somebody full
mean?
of joy. Somebody
It's just
full of joy, happy.
just happy and full of joy. Exactly. You feel me? And look what they did. So when we came around and we were born, and anybody in this generation, because you can ask a kid and they'll tell you gay means homosexual. You know what I mean? So that's what we're talking about, bro, because we want to empower first ourselves. We want to empower ourselves first, and then we want to empower others. You know what I mean? We want to, one teaches another. You know what I mean? Another one teaches two, two teaches four, four teaches eight. You know what I mean? But we really gotta really know our shit and not just generalize, or how some people like to say philosophize, you know what I mean? Like weed smokers do. You know what I mean? Weed smokers, they smoke a joint, they smoke a blunt, and they'll say something like, something really interesting, like, man, why is the sky blue? And then start laughing, you feel me? Or who really rules the world? But they never really follow through to find out the answers or get a clear perspective. So going back to word and going back, to the Satanists is let me ask you something, bro. Do you believe that the Jewish are God's chosen people?
My answer, I believe, no. I don't believe, I don't even believe that the real Jews. That's why they call themselves Jewish, because you'll never find that word in the Bible. Jewish. Jewish is like saying you're being childish. It's like you're not really a child.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What's my new go ahead.
No, go ahead, man. I just break it down.
My new perspective that I got this week is, I do believe that these modern day these Jewish, they are God's chosen people. They are, but you know what we need to clarify though, to get the you know what I mean, because I already know that's going to trigger a lot of folks. You feel me? Because I'm saying, I'm being it clear that these modern day Jews, the ones that's in Israel, these pale skin that's in Israel, they are God's chosen people. But
chosen for what though? That's the key.
Okay, that's another perspective, and that's valid. But I'm gonna tell you this. Have you ever noticed in these Academy Award shows and the Grammys and these award shows, right? That these people, you know what I mean, that are they when they get the award, they's like, I want to thank God.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. My God, because there's many gods, right?
And that's where I'm getting at. See, all they say is, I want to thank God. They never say the Most High. You know what I mean? Because to them, you know what I mean? What is a Satanist or a Luciferian? Because even that gets into bad terms. You know what I mean? And people want to, you know what I'm saying? But it's just a vibe, bro. What is you about, bro? Do you want to, you know what I'm saying, uplift brethren and have harmony? Or do you want to fuck shit up and you only think about yourself? If you only think about yourself and you want to do whatever the fuck that makes you happy, then that's the Satanist. Basically, that's a Satanist doctrine. You feel me? Do as you will. So whenever they say like Nike, right? What's Nike's slogan? Just do it.
Just do it. Yeah, just do it.
That's a Satanist slogan. You feel me? They see. You know why I'm tapping into this type of knowledge? Because I understand that the Hebrew language, the Hebrew language is the one that made the English language. It's not a literal language. See, they speak in code. You know what I'm saying? Like gang members do. You know what I mean? That when there's a hit about to be in the yard, everybody know it because you know what I mean? They know what the code words is. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, the squares that don't know the lingo, they don't know what the fuck going on. You know what I mean? So they better get down or lay down. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Oh,
So with the Hebrew language, see, you really gotta know about connotation and denotation. You know what I'm saying? You know about connotation and denotation?
I'll break it down.
I mean, connotation is what the word means literally, and denotation is what it could mean, like slang. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? You know, like how we say, hey, what's up, perro? You know what I mean? Which we got it from dog. Which we got it from, hey, what's up, dog? Well, you know what, bro? If you want to look at it in English or in language, bro, I don't want to call you dog, bro. You know what I'm saying? I did it before. I've done it before. You know, I'm guilty of it when I was in my lower self. I used to call myself dog. I used to call myself
Hey, can I say
dog.
something real quick?
Yeah, go
Can I
ahead.
say something real quick?
Speak on it.
Just like I say like the word homie here and there because, I grew up like that. It's certain words I want to get out of my vocabulary, like America. I don't like calling this place America because this place is United States,
Right.
I'm working on it. Yeah, we're all Americans, Central, South, North.
Right.
But, these motherfuckers, though.
I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah.
So I'm over here working on myself. Like you said, that's called working on yourself. Now, we're not going to get it every day. Another thing that like you said, we say dog a lot, right? Another thing we don't want to say is homie, because the word homie is associated with homo. You're calling each other like homos and shit when you say, hey, what's up, homie? Yeah, dog. Yeah, you might think it's funny, but go look it up, bro. You gotta know that these dudes were in prison doing some gay shit too, dog. There's some homo shit going on in there. So don't be calling yourself homie because you're calling yourself like a little homo, like a little homie, homo. So it's like certain words I want to get out of my vocabulary, but it's all good. I get what you're saying. Sometimes, we got like I used to be around this black dude, right, back in LA.
Yeah.
And like I told you, he was from this gang called Showline,
Right.
And we was locked up in this group home, and when we wash our shoelaces, I had to find another way to call this thing something else, bro, because that's how you diss his his gang.
Right.
Shoelaces, SL, you know what I mean? Showline is shoelaces, and that fool will get mad. He hear that word, So I had to put it in my vocabulary to just say, pass me them laces, and you better not say shoelaces type of shit. So even back then, I had to train my mind to don't disrespect, and right now we got to do the same thing, like you were saying, dog. You're disrespecting your bro, but he don't notice that you're calling him a dog. Like in the Bible, that's this to call somebody a dog. At the bottom, it's just like it's good that you brought that up. So I just want to bring up the homie part or the American part. We have to start changing, and that's what we call that working on ourselves.
Right.
Like you brought up the other day, the whole how we went programming with words. You should play that little get down. Like entertainment and programming and television, and those are words that program us with. Like I'm telling you about Constitution. That's another word. The program for this place, United States, they program these people to say this Constitution. If you really split that word up, it's con and institution in there, bro. You've been con to be in this institution. You got to start understanding words while you're speaking them, because like you were saying the other day, words are spells. And we got to know that everything that we say to each other, like just Dog is an easy one, right? Like, bro, like right away, you should know not to say that shit. Man, you talking about Constitution? What is that? You've been conned to be in this institution called the American Dream. There is no American Dream.
Yeah,
Go ahead, bro.
and that's just an example. You know what I mean? I'm glad you brought
Yeah.
up that the America one, because that's one of my kind of like pet peeves, bro. It's ridiculous how some people, especially in the United States, you got to understand, bro. I was programmed too. You know, I used to put my hand over my heart, and your heart is not even there, bro. Your heart is in the middle of the chest, but I used to put it, you know, like on the left side. You know what I mean? How they taught
Yeah,
us. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
I
yeah,
used to
yeah, yeah.
recite, you know what I mean? You know the whole the flag thing. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like
sir.
I was programmed, bro. That's why I told you that I'm glad you brought that up. That I am trying to be holy, bro. I am trying to be holy while I'm on this devilish place. This is a devilish realm, bro. Some people claim that it's a hell. I agree with that term, bro. This is a hell. This isn't the hell. There are worser hells, but this is a hell. That's why we got to live like parasites, bro. We got to eat and we got to eat and we got to eat. You think God's got to eat? Gods don't eat.
Exactly.
A
Yeah,
real
it's a hell.
God. This
Yeah,
is
it's
a
a hell. I
hell.
mean, it's levels of hell, like you said. Like for example, people think they have a bad life here in the United States, right? And it is bad because, like I said, you constantly in fight mode right here. You know, in flight mode. You constantly got to be worrying about something. You know, getting a ticket here, paying the taxes here, paying the bill here, paying. You know, you in that type of hell. There's a worse hell somewhere. Like you got places like deserted places where there's no food, no water. People got to find a
But
way to get
but
these
but
things.
but but the thing is though, bro, that this world is all about perspective. You feel me? Like for example, there's poor people, bro, that they don't even know that they're poor
Yeah,
because they never seen a TV, so they never seen The Price is Right. They never seen Jeopardy. They never seen, a TV show. So they haven't seen another perspective. So they don't even know that they're poor. But you know what they are? They're happy as shit. They wake up every day, they go to work, they do what they got to do on their farm in their region and whatever their realm is, bro. See, this world
yeah.
is about perspective, bro, and that's what part of it we've been
How you see the
programmed. Like,
world?
like
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah,
example,
yeah.
like I agree with you. We like in the United States, it's real hectic. But you know what? For some people, it's not, bro. For some people that just mind their business, that just go to work, go home. You know what I mean? And it's not, trying to be something that they're not trying to live up to TV standards, you know what I mean? Or chasing the Joneses, how they call it. They don't have no problem in life, bro. They don't worry about going to jail. They put on their seatbelts. They follow every rule in the book. They're not trying to fadangle nobody. They're not trying to get over on nobody. And they're just happy as shit. And God protects some of them.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The
Yeah, yeah.
the
It's
one
how you look at it.
the ones that who get in trouble are the ones who are not, they think they're too smart, you know what I mean? So they go looking for the homies, like you said, you know what I mean? Or they go looking for the hoes and the bitches, you know what I'm saying? And they not ready for hoes and bitches.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's like when I got here, dog. Like I used to be a bad kid, right? I used to
Yeah.
do a lot of bad shit to my mom, bro. I used to just run around, just fighting, and just I was a man, bro. I look at my dude. You guys be good, man. You don't even know. You don't want to know what a bad kid is really like. Because if you want to know a bad kid, I'm a kid from the streets. I was in
Yeah.
the third world countries, And anyways, so anytime my mama whooped my ass, bro, me and my mind is like, damn. My mind, I was like, damn. She caught me. I deserved it, right? That's it. Like that's my mom. I still love my mom. You know who we are. Like we some bad kids, but that's my jefita. That's my mom, bro. I still love my mom. That's my mom. Like as Hispanic dudes, most of us are like that with our moms, bro. Like we know we deserve this ass whoopings, yeah, right? But then though, motherfucker come to America, United States. You see how I still got it? I come to United States, yo, and then I'm acting out like I always do, right? So these dudes put me in group homes and foster home, and I'm still acting out. So they go like, man, this boy needs therapy, right? And I'm like, fuck, what's therapy, you know? So they put me in this therapy thing with this therapist, which means the rapist, right? If you put the whole word about they rape your mind, you
Yeah,
know?
therapist. Yeah.
So so what you call this lady, bro, like I didn't know, you know, I mean, like you said, perspective, right? This lady was asking me all these questions about my life and how I grew up and how was your mom, and you know, I let her know that did your mama whoop you a lot? Did she beat you? Like, well, shit, yeah, you, like she used to beat me up, and you know, she used to hit me with the extension cord sometimes. Sometimes she'll beat me with anything she should find, you know, beat me out with a high heel shoe or anything. She'll fuck me up with anything, my mama. And you
Yeah.
know, but I try to explain to the lady, look, I deserved it. I was a bad kid. You know what the lady told me?
What she tell you?
No, your mama was a bad mother. You know, that she abused you. Poor child. How dare her? You know what I mean? I was like, damn. I started like looking at my life as a poor little kid, like, damn, you know, like that was messed up what your mama did. You need some pills now. You need some counseling now from now on. You're
Yeah.
going through a lot of stuff. I get it. Why you acting up? I was like, nah, hold on. I was acting up before this because, like, I just get my ass whooped by this. I got my ass whooped. But they let her know, this is why you look this way. Now we know, she said. And then all of a sudden, bro, I really got depressed in life. But I was the happiest kid ever. You couldn't stop me from climbing trees and fucking around and doing that. But I was just a bad kid, you know, with no dad and shit telling me stop that shit, son. So so yeah, after that, I got depressed, my dog. I felt like I had the worst life coming up. And maybe to
Right.
some little spoiled kid over here is like, yeah, bro, your life was fucked up. Kid.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they put me in groups, and that's how I grew up after that, just feeling sorry for myself. Like, damn, do I need a dad or something? If I had a father, he probably would have stopped my mama from whipping my ass all the time and that. And, you know, it's perspective, like you said, the way you look at the world. But before that, nah, man, I deserved it. Like I was just fucking up over there. I go out there play marbles with the little boys and just getting fights because somebody give me all my little chips. It was betting on, and you know, I go over there climbing trees, or I go over there trying to mess with the neighbor's little daughter and shit. Or you know, I have to get my ass whooped for those things, though, because I was making my mama look bad. But later on, no, dude, you was being abused. You poor
You
kid.
know. You
Now
know.
I live this victimhood. Yeah, go ahead.
To understand, to really not just understand, like remember things about perspective. Understanding is you looking from the bottom up. We want to be military minded, and we want to go up to the hill or up to the tree or to the highest point and look at the environment from there. That's what overstanding is. Some people they don't like these new terminologies. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, what I mean, these dudes, you know what I mean, they think they this and they that, or they, what I mean, whatever, they making up new words. Well, yeah, what I'm saying, we are the creators. We have the power. That's the whole point of
Yeah, yeah,
empowerment. If we want to, we can come up with a whole new language, a whole new culture, a whole new nation. That's what we are capable of. You know what I'm saying? And we're just
yeah,
we're
yeah,
just
yeah.
starting off. So, you know, you know, these past generations, where we come from, you know what I mean, and even prior right now, there's a lot of single mothers out there, and you have to ask yourself, how come there was a lot of single mothers in these last few generations, and not before, in the before the 60s, you know what I mean, there were always single mothers, right? There was always single mothers, but not, you know like in the last few generations or decades, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Where
yeah.
where
And,
Go ahead.
and you got it. It's good thing that it's good thing that you're bringing up the mothers, right? The mothers, because I just
Right.
came across some new information, though.
Yeah.
Like, like man, I hate to say this shit, though, but growing up,
Yeah.
to survive, my mother had
Yeah.
to do what she had to do.
Right.
You know, I don't like this shit. I hate it. I hate thinking about it. I hate walking in on my mom and she was doing something with a man or something. But that's the kind of environment I come from, bro. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
yeah, so my mama used to go to bars and all that shit, and sometimes do with man what she even had a baby with the landlord just to pay rent type of shit, you
Right.
know, and that was my little brother. But anyways, getting back to the get down, I just found this information called, I don't know if you heard of it. They call it, I'm gonna have to spell it for you. It's telagamy or some shit like that. You heard of it before?
I'm not sure if I understand you, but if you're not, break
Okay,
it down.
telagamy is you spell Tlegomy. Telaga. I get tongue twisted. But
Telogamy.
anyways, I just telagamy. Yeah. But anyways, watch this. Science, or the scientists, motherfuckers, are finding out, bro, that if your mother was with many men before, you know, like intercourse and no condom, no nothing, straight raw, you know, and then she went and had a baby after that, that she collects the DNA from all those other men and pass it on to her kid, bro.
It
And so
stays
you
in a,
got it's like having those spirits in you. So your dad, like the dad of that child, be like, man, where that kid get that shit from? Like, I don't be like that. I don't act like that, you know. And you start thinking like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, that means that your mom, she didn't know any better, but if she slept with like 10 men before you, she passed all that DNA of those men to you. You don't just have your. They said this is like a new study. They had it before, but they said they're coming back, and it's true. So all these women that are sleeping around and all that, and they finally go have a baby. All those characters or whatever men they were sleeping with, you passing it on to your child. You know, and then no wonder the father leaves too, and has these single mothers. They can't stand this child, bro. They don't even want to be around this kid, because this kid, he's not like me. He don't come from me. Where this? But go look it up. Maybe it's bullshit. But
no, I already found it. It's called telogamy.
telagamy, something like that. Telagamy. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
You can read it so that people can know.
I already knew that that when a man ejaculates, busts a nut inside cream pies, inside a woman, the sperm, it could stay in there forever. You know what I mean?
It says 7 days it lasts in there, but she collects information from that sperm. It's like semen retention, right? Semen retention, like if you hold your sperm,
right
after 7 days, your body absorbs it.
But this is, this is where, see, this is great that you brought it up, because this goes to my point that we need to step our motherfucking game up. You know what I mean? Like, for real. Like, we need to understand everything that we can possibly understand. You know what I mean? Not everything. That's why I said that we can possibly, because there's certain things that we don't want to understand. You know what I mean? Certain things that's just going to be boring to us, like we don't want to. But one of the things that I've been studying for a long time is the human body, biology, and especially women and men. You feel me? We need to be protectors of women. We need to be protectors of women. That's why I told you with the powwows, and I stay away from them type of groups that are misogynists. You know what I mean? That really hate women, or they only want to be with the homies and with men. I don't want to be with just men. There's a point in time, you know what I mean, when I want to be with men. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's build. Let's build a house. Let's build the temple. Okay, you know what I mean? Let's put. That's a manly activity. You know what I mean? But I don't want to be with men all the time, bro. You know what I'm saying? and I don't want to.
That's gay.
And I don't want to be with women all the time. Sometimes I just want to be alone, because I'm a loner. Like I'm a single child, bro. You know what I'm saying?
That's another option. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was. You know what I mean? I'm my own best friend. You know what I'm saying? Like I had imagined, I played with myself with toys. You feel me? Like, you know what I mean? I had imagination, an imaginary world, stuff like that. Now, going back to women, bro, we need to be. That's why I salute you, bro, because I know you got a house full of women, and and going back to these words, another word that I corrected myself a long time ago is I don't call. Back when I was young, they were all bitches. You know what I mean? I don't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? Now don't get me wrong. I will call a bitch a bitch. You know
Yeah,
what I
there
mean?
is some bitches out there. I was gonna tell you though. You
I
know,
will. I no. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I will call a bitch a bitch. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
let's get out of our vocabulary that all women are bitches. You know what I'm saying? Because
yeah.
that's another thing that we need to build is because in modern day society, in social media and in the real world, everybody hates everybody, bro. Dudes hate women, women hate men. They call the men dogs, and you know what I mean. It's just nonsense. But it's not us. It's the programming, and it might be. You know what I mean. That God, those are the trials and tribulations that we supposed to be going through. But we're here solving them. That's why we're talking about it. And anybody who finds this channel and finds these conversations and they relate, well, I salute them because you know they're growing just like us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
we're talking about, bro, like getting rid of the bullshit and attracting our higher self. You know, so you know we need to be
Yeah,
protected.
bro, keep going, bro.
Go
I gotta
ahead.
check out real quick.
All right. So
Keep going though. My thing
yeah,
messed
yeah.
up right now. My headphones.
All right. So you know in modern right now modern times, you know it the hate for men from women, you know, it's obscene, and they have a reason. They have reasons because in previous decades and previous generations, you know, just listen to rap from back in the day. You know, it was all about bitches and hoes and treating them like shit and pimp hogging and dogging them. You know, thankfully I've learned better, and now you know I know that the women are the key. A lot of men want to uh you know claim that they're gonna be the next you know Jesus Christ, or the next one to you know Malcolm X or whoever, Gandhi, or whoever you guys want to claim as a hero or a savior, or you know a person that causes revolutionary change. But I'm completely believe that the key is the woman. When the woman finally decides, finally understands her worth, her value, her purpose, everything will fall into place. And and that's a reason why, if you do the history of women, that's why the
Yeah.
majority of them the majority of them have been
Hey, can you hear me,
persecuted.
bro?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
My bad, bro. My girl hit me up on Messenger and it disconnected me from Bluetooth for some reason, and I have to like, yeah, that
No,
shit be fucking up on my
it's
side.
good. That's exactly what we're talking about, bro. Your first your first and utmost responsibility is to her, because she is, you know what I mean, the one at the home front. You know what I mean? You know, women.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to bring up. Like, when information like this come out, women they get offended and feel attacked. But this is not to attack women. Like, hey, you went and fucked a lot of men, and look what you did to your child. Now you brought all these traits to your kid, and now you got all these different basically spirits on your kid from other men. I'm not saying that. I'm also like talking to the dudes, like, stop going around sleeping with this woman, dude. Stop doing that. Because look what you're doing. And then, like I said, we was talking about single mothers. Maybe that's why they do leaves their home, because the child that he has or whatever. Because we're talking about, bro. I come from the ghetto. The ghetto, dude, where women just sleep around. Like, these women don't sleep around with 3, 4 dudes. They sleep around with hundreds of dudes, dude. And then you pass that shit on to your child. This kid got fucking 100 different type of men's DNAs and some of those dudes is demons. So we got to stop doing that. We got to be more responsible as far as those things, and we got to stop
Look,
putting
look,
women through all this shit, because we are the leaders. We're supposed to lead these women to better ways, dude.
look, look,
So
look. Salute to all the women out there in the world present and in the past, that had to do what had to be done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like how you was talking about. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? This world is tough. You know what I mean? I know many, many, many cases where women had to do, you know what I mean, whatever, you know what I mean, for the family. That's why the women is the key. That's why I was saying when you got disconnected that, you know, we believe that men are the answer, bro, that we're going to be the ones of change. We're not, bro. We're the muscle. We're the ones who's gonna, you know what I mean, put it together. But the women are the key to everything. The women are the ones who nutrient, you know what I mean, who give
But I'm,
nutrition.
but I'm gonna tell you one thing: women do follow after us. Because back in the day, women were not even as promiscuous as now, bro. They only following after us. Like they did it to us. They used to cheat and beat us and get drunk, go to the bar, and now we're gonna do it. And women they just love getting. You got to know the nature of women. Women are spiteful, bro. I don't care how you put it to me. They're spiteful, and they just want revenge in the end. So we got to treat them right. That's how we lead. ¿Entiendes? That's how we do it, my bro. We are the leaders as far as those things. Because women, they get spiteful and they like, and bro, and they have the power to do it like this. Because, like I said, they go outside, dude, and 100 dudes be dropping, hey, girl, what's going on? We go outside, we got to chase females, bro. Nobody chases around. They got the power, but they just more humble. And then, and then when we're doing wrong, they just want to get even with you. So we just got to be more like,
that's
go ahead,
it's fine that they're spiteful. You know what I mean? That's not the problem. The problem is that they don't know who the fuck the opposition is. They don't know who the
they
fuck
think it's
the
us.
enemy
That's what I'm
is.
saying.
Yeah, I'm not the enemy. I'm not the enemy. I'm the one dropping wisdom in game. I'm the one trying to, you know what I'm saying, bring you closer to God. I'm the one trying to, you know what I'm saying, make sure you eat healthy and drink coconut water.
Yeah. These dudes just do the women wrong, and they don't have to be that. Just be their daughter next, bro. Their daughter be like, well, my daddy did this to my mom, and she gets spiteful and shit over that, and then he starts doing what the daddy did to the mom on the opposite way, And I know dudes that they didn't like how the daddy treated their mama, so they want to be better. Like me, bro. I don't like what my mama went through, bro. So I try to treat good, like. I'm overprotective of my kids and on my daughters and my wife just because I know what mama went through and what my little sisters went through, and but they're not my little sisters, they're older than me, but they were little at the time. So I'm in this mentality that I know what women go through, so I'm constantly protecting and I'm constantly trying to speak game, and sometimes I overprotect, bro, but I just come from that environment, but so I'm not like. I learned from mama's mistake and I feel bad. I wish I was, no, not like on some weird shit, but I wish I would have been my mama's man today. Like I wish I would have been the man that took care of her. Because I know in the end that's all she wanted. But every man that came out, they just want to get something and get on. And that was her reality. So I'm trying to do better. But you got dudes that like, I'm just gonna be just like my dad. And you got daughters that's gonna be like, my dad did this to my mama. I'm a dude, fuck man, I'm a get it for their money, and I'm a dip out on them, and I'm gonna give me another dude. And that's how
The thing is, bro, hurt people hurt people,
and that's what I mean. We got to stop hurting people, as men, especially us, because the children, like I said, they follow us. Man, we ain't talking about boys, we talking about men. They follow us. The women see us, the little kids see us, and they just go get spiteful when they get hurt, like you said, hurt, and they start hurting other people. We got to stop the hurt. That's when I say we are the leaders, and those things we are. Like women can lead in certain things, but we lead in this shit right here.
But that's why the men are called protectors and providers, bro. But see, that's where we need to go back into the understanding of words. When they call the men providers, it's not only for money, bro. That's what a trick is. A trick will give a woman money. You know what I mean? Which is fine if she doesn't have, you know what I mean, two pennies to rub together. You know what I mean? So she needs the money to go buy a fucking hamburger. You did what I'm saying? I understand. But like what you said, women need you know what I mean, the guidance. Some women, not all women, because there's wise women out there, bro.
Sometimes
There's,
women can guide men and advise them, you know.
of course, I mean, that's where we need to have this deep understanding. Just like I don't agree that all women should follow all men. There's men
Oh
that ain't
no,
worth shit.
exactly. Nah, that's what I'm saying.
There's
And it
men.
only makes them spiteful, like I said. They only those
That's
dudes
what
only
I'm
make them
saying.
spiteful. You know what I mean?
Like what you said. Like with you know, excuse that I use your mom for example, but you said that she, you know, she was with certain men, and all they wanted was one thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is what
So
it is.
why would she follow those men? You know what I mean? When they only wanted one thing. They didn't want her, they didn't want to guide her. They didn't want her to put her on her wing. They didn't want her to protect her. No, they just wanted one thing. So women shouldn't just follow the lead of any man. Like, you know how some religions be like, well, women have to follow men. No, they don't. Now if the phrase is women should follow a wise man, well, yeah, absolutely. But just to be clear, a man should follow a wise woman too. It's just like, bro, if I go to your city, you know, and the woman is the one who knows, I don't know that city. I'm gonna let her lead me, guide
You gotta
me.
go. You gotta go deeper though. Like, wow, we're not talking about smart. We're talking about wise, right? We're not talking about motherfucking good at math type of shit.
Well,
We're
wise
talking
is
about
wise,
wisdom.
bro. Wise is
You know,
wise. Like, you know what I mean? I don't, you know what I mean? But if you want to clarify this shit, wise is you're at your highest peak. You feel me? Wise trumps all intelligence. I don't give a fuck if you can multiply to 1,000,000. You know what I mean? That means that you're intelligence, that you're mathematically intelligent. Wise is that you know your purpose, bro. Wise means that you're not in anybody's business. Wise is that you are doing what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like wise is the highest, is that's your higher self. You know what I mean? Wise basically means
exactly.
discernment. Discernment and wise are the same thing. Because if you can discern, if you can discern, means that, because what is discernment? It means that you can recognize the real from the fake, the real from the bullshit. You know what I mean?
Intuition. You know, yeah.
So if you
It's good
got two
intuition.
men, right? Two men, you got two men. The wise woman knows which one to pick. You feel me? The other one, well, she's gonna pick the one with who got tattoos on his neck because
Yeah.
that's what's trending.
Shit, right. Yeah, yeah.
Or the one who got a fly hat or got Jordans or got muscles. You know what I mean? A wise woman, none of that matters. You know what I mean? All that matters is, you know what I
She's
mean?
looking for that deeper stuff. Yeah, yeah.
You know, like for example, a wise woman wants a father to her children. You know what I mean? She don't want just any man. She wants a man that's gonna lace. You know what I mean? Like in the movie, you know a woman that I recommend we all look up to is from the movie The Terminator, Sarah Connor.
So kind of, hey, everybody compare my mama to that lady there right there. Yeah.
Well, I can imagine so like Sarah Connor, you know, she was a waitress at the beginning of the movie, right? Terminator, the first one, right? She was a
She was a
waitress.
softie. Yeah, yeah.
She was a softie, and she was just a party girl. You feel me? Her roommate was fucking everything moving. Remember, her roommate was getting fucked when the Terminator came. You know, she had a boyfriend,
Yeah.
and you know, she was just loose. You feel me? So, but Sarah was, you know, of that mode. She was just a regular woman. You feel me? Of this time and age. So, you know what I mean? You know, but through the series, she had to wake up. She had to. So, I think
You
in
know, you
Terminator,
know, you know, she
go
was
ahead.
playing the Virgin Mary, right?
Of
She
course,
was
like
the
the whole,
Immaculate Conception. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah, the whole.
John
I
Connor
mean,
was Jesus Christ. You
that's
know,
why I
JC.
don't. That's why I don't care about the Bible being real or fake, bro. I don't
Yeah.
care if Jesus is real or fake. It's just like I know Optimus Prime is not real, but I can look up to him
Yeah.
for his values. You dig what I'm saying?
No, I'm saying
Like
that's why you're talking about her because they were describing a humble woman like the Virgin Mary. You know, and
That's all I'm saying. Like that's see, that's what we need to pick up. See, but other people are religious fanatic. He want to argue, you know what I mean? Semantics. Like, oh well, he was real or he wasn't. It doesn't matter.
yeah,
What only matters is, are you walking the path of Christ? Are you walking like him? Just like is a woman living up to the reason why I brought up Sarah Connor was because in the Terminator 2, the boy, right, is explaining
yeah,
to the Terminator that his mom didn't know shit, but
yeah,
she was living in Nicaragua.
yeah, yeah. She was in Nicaragua.
And she was dating dudes that could teach her military training.
That's what my mama did. That's how she went. That's how she met my dad. My dad was in with the Sandinistas, bro. My mom became fucking part of the guerrillas in El Salvador after that shit. You know?
Yeah, so like see all that, see, because bro, we can't change the past, but at the same time,
That's crazy.
if you have new information, it changes how you see the past because your perspective. You see, so
Yeah,
now everything that you tell me, I'm like, damn, bro, yo, I salute your mama, bro. I know she wasn't perfect because, bro, no person is perfect in this world because we're all dealing with the same bullshit. We all wish that we've been educated more. You know what I mean? We all wish we had a fucking master teacher in our household, but we didn't have that. But we
yeah,
are becoming that, especially you. Like you are that person in that household. If you do your job, bro. See, sometimes, we think like, oh, we want to do these big things, right? But sometimes, bro, I believe that God has deeper missions for us, that all our mission is to teach a certain somebody, because that certain somebody and later on is going to teach somebody else.
exactly. And
But we
speaking of
go
the
ahead.
Bible, like the guy I look up to a lot in the Bible, right?
Who?
It ain't Jesus though, because
Who?
Jesus was like on some other level, you know.
Yeah, he's
I
all
like
right.
I like I like David because everybody said be like Jesus, bro. First of all, Jesus walk on water. I would never be able to fucking walk on water, dog. You know, I'm never able to fucking just make fish just appear and shit. And then that's why I call that whole Jesus thing, bro. It's just be more like Jesus. I can't, dog. Like he was just this miracle dude. But the dudes in the Old Testament, they were more like man. They like, and then if they didn't do that shit right, you know, God will come down on your ass. You know, like you get some punishments. But that's why the Jesus thing, I just I give people like be like Jesus. You can try. I'm like, but you're gonna fall hella short, dog. This guy was incredible. That's what I tell dudes like Christians get bothered with me by the whole Jesus thing. Like it was like, Jesus came and died for our sins. I like, but he resurrected 3 days later, bro. It's like playing a video game. It's like he really didn't die for your sin. It's like, you will not be able to come back to when you die, though. It's just you never be able to be like Jesus. So I like leaving that Jesus situation alone. Because it's like that's too much. That's some shit. That's way out. You can't ever feel those huaraches, bro. But I like the Old Testament. These dudes were like actual men. I don't know if you watched the Superman versus Batman. You ever watched that movie?
Yeah, I
And
don't
that
think I've
one
seen
when
the movie. No, I don't think I've seen the movie.
man,
No.
it's a part of me, and I know it's like Batman is talking to Superman like he's Jesus. He tells him, "You're no real hero. You're no real man. You're no real, warrior. You're no real man because you got all those powers, bro. Only real men are heroes." It says, "Only men are heroes." It said, because we
Yeah.
die and shit, bro. You know, and that's how I took those dudes in the Old Testament when they went to war and they died, homie. Jesus was like a Superman. He didn't really die. What happened to Superman? He resurrected you in the movie later on. You
Yeah.
know, that's not a real man. But me and you, we're flesh, bro. If I say I'm gonna die for you today, Romeo, guess what, homie? And I do die for you, dude. I'm there for you, dog. I don't come back. That's like a cheat in the game. That's like they're fucking with your head. Like he died for you, but he came back 2 days later. I mean, you can like he knew the whole what was gonna happen. He had the whole cheat code to know that. Me and you don't know what the fuck is coming tomorrow, though. We don't even know we're gonna have water in our fucking house or food or nothing. everything can get cut off. You know, when you know the cheat and you know God and I'm about to die and it's everything's so good and there is a heaven, shit is easier. We can be like Jesus. But when we're here in the unknown, we don't know shit. That's when the tricky shit, you know, that's when you gotta really, your faith is in place, bro. That's when do you really believe in God? It's easy to believe in God when you know for sure there's a God, there's a heaven, and I can walk on water and do all that shit. That's why I don't consider that shit and I don't listen to Christians, but I be more like Jesus. Fuck out of here. Are you insane? Can't be like that, man. But I understand that I understand the good part and all that shit, but can never feel, those shoes are too hard to feel up to. ¿Entiendes? But I like David, bro. David was the shit. David fucked up. David fucking, you know what I mean? He fell for a woman that he didn't supposed to. And he was not even from his tribe or anything. He was I think he was like a Philistine or something, you know, or some other, like a Hamitic dude. But the Most High still punished him for sleeping with his wife and having him killed. And the dude made mistakes, dude. And but we're supposed to learn from the mistakes men made. And you know what I mean? And at the same time, be like David, but don't be like David type of shit.
Right.
And that's why I get my stuff from, bro. I like the OG. The OG is more challenging to me. You know, and the new one is too challenging, bro. I can't walk in water like I said. I can't do that stuff. So I leave that stuff alone. When I'm, you know, not my mom, bro. My mom was not a virgin, you know. My mom, like I just told you, bro. I try to relate with shit that is more realistic to me. I'm a tangible man more. You know, that's why I don't get on that shit. But David, bro, that's the guy. You know, I don't know if it was real or not, but it just makes more sense that he was more like a man like you and I, and he went through challenges and he had to do God's work, God's will, without knowing if there was a heaven or hell, none of that. He just, you know, he believed what he felt in his heart and he went for it with it. And he was chosen to do these things. But yeah, go ahead, bro.
No, I agree with you. That perspective, you know, when I was younger, you know, I used to, you know, look up to these superheroes. You know, I never really liked Batman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Until you know that little tidbit of information came across my perspective. You know what I mean? That Batman, he's the only one that's a regular human.
Man, right?
You know what I mean? Regular human. And what makes him different is his
Rich.
discipline. His
Oh, yeah,
discipline.
his discipline. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's rich. He's rich. He can get those gadgets and shit.
I mean, yeah, I mean, he is rich. You feel me? But his
But
discipline.
that's more easy for us to get though. It's more like a tangible shit that we can get a hold of. Like one day we might be able to
you
get
know,
somebody.
we could. He was born, you know, with that, with that. You know what I'm saying? But you know, just the same thing, bro. I don't care if Batman is real or isn't. You know what I mean? I don't care if Jesus is real or isn't. All I care about is these archetypes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I study psychology, and the psychology. That's why, you know, like the Greek myths that I brought up. I remember that I was bringing up the ones about the, you know, Greek myths, and Brother Messi, he was like, you know what I mean? He gets triggered with that. You feel me?
Yeah, he don't like that. He like, learn about you. Learn about you.
Yeah, and that's cool. You know, like I understand that, but bro, don't just you know, stiff arm. Don't resist any other information, bro, because I'm gonna learn, you know, like right now I'm learning about these Jewish things, so I'm gonna have to learn about Zoroastrian and Babylonian gods. You know what I mean? Because I want to know what they believe in. I want to know what they come from, why they are what they are, why they think what they think. You feel me? I just don't want to, you know, just go off the hinges like the majority of people that just, you know what I mean? Like a lot of majority of people don't even know what the fuck is going on over there in Israel and with the Philistines. You know what I mean? The Palestines, that they call them Palestine now, but they're the Philistines. You know what I mean? They don't know what the hell's going on. I just looked up, bro. They've been going to war since biblical times and since like the 60s and 50s going, you know what I mean? They've been blowing each other up, bro. That's what that, you know, I mean, I was up not all night, but you know, to the late hours of the night, you know what I mean? Tapping that in, you know what I mean? Like, I want to know who their heroes is. And
like I was telling you, to me, it's like people don't. I'm gonna do the like. Look, bro. I don't speak the most clear, bro. I don't move the most smooth, bro. But I do like to analyze shit smooth, bro. seeing shit more clearly, bro. When I see things do like I just about the Jesus thing, I analyze shit. Like when people just speak on Jesus and be like Jesus and they don't know what the fuck they're saying. You have you even read this book, dude? Have you read it like correctly? Did you know what's going on here? This is talking about some other shit, dude.
Right.
You're not divine like that, homie. You're a human being. That's why I try to. You got to be the best human being you can be. And the end is, I try to tell, like, like, like you said, we can't take this shit literal, bro. And that's why I get mad about these Jewish people. Like they're saying that they're blowing up these Palestinians because they're Amalek in the Bible. This is Amalek, and Amalek in the Bible, you know, that was our enemy, and this is Amalek. That's why we're blowing up for the Palestinians. But if they only knew Amalek, they were not Arabians. Amalek, they were from the tribe of Edomites. I mean, Esau. You know, Ishmael is from the tribe of or the Arabians or the Palestinians. They're from the Ishmaelites. So why are you calling these people them the Amaleks and shit? You know, and a lot of the Jewish people went along with it. They just read a little bit apart. Analyze some shit, motherfuckers, before you start blowing up a bunch of children. Like all these people, like they speak about, like you said, they're the real Jews. Have you read the Bible for reals? Do you know that's an old matrix, bro? Do you know the Old Testament is missing more than 30? The Old Testament alone. I ain't talking about the Apocrypha, and I ain't talking about the New Testament or what. I'm talking about the Old Testament alone. And the Old Testament tells you they're missing 30-some books on the Old Testament. Like you gotta start analyzing this shit before you're gonna be like, yeah, you know, we believe in this shit. Like you said, use it as a tool. Like I said, I read about David. I don't take it literal, but I like some shit that he did in it. You know, that's all you can do with that. But you took it too far now, man. Because now you're blowing up children and really believing this shit. Like, can I go back 1,000 years and really prove that these people been fucking killing it? Nah, I can't, though. You could be making this shit up because you control the media, you control the information. Maybe it never really happened. Maybe you guys haven't blown yourself up. Maybe it's all bullshit. Maybe you, like I said, Jewish, like, what is Jewish? You find out what anybody, $1,000, bro. I have it. I give it to you. Find Jewish in the Bible. You don't have it because they know they're not the real Jews because it's an old matrix. It's not because I'm saying I'm the real Jew or black people are the real Jew or, you know, I'm just telling you, nobody's the real Jew. That's an old matrix. That's why they call themselves Jewish. Why? Because they try to follow their old Jew law and then they added their own Talmud law. And, you know, they just want to switch it a little bit here. But you know what's in that Talmud? Have you read that Talmud, bro?
I'm getting into it.
You know that they're talking about fucking little babies in that Talmud.
Yeah, well, the Talmud
Like,
is just, you know, it's just
like,
a remix of a lot of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
like
just
commentary. It's
a
like
commentary
newborns.
book. It's, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It is like the newborns, and they're talking about their shit and peel.
Some of them is way out there.
So which one's the real one? You know, but like you said, you use it as a tool. Then you gotta come across like people in the Quran, right? People like the Quran. The Quran got a lot of good shit, but Muhammad was over there messing with a little girl, no?
Aliyah.
You know?
He was 9.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. But these bros are religious and they get offended. But like, look, dog, it's cool. You take the good shit like you said, like a tool. But you start taking this shit literal, hey, you're gonna start giving people Kool-Aid and shit out there, man.
But see, that when I come across these people and they talk just like what you're saying, how they talk about, they use the Bible to understand these Jews. That gives me the understanding that they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, because these Jews don't give a fuck about the Bible. They work with other books, like, you know what I'm saying? They have a deeper history than that. So, but you're trying to use the Bible to figure them out. You know what I mean? So you're deeply limited. You can't.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You can't and you won't, because you're using the wrong book. You know what I mean, to figure them out.
Exactly. Like he was bringing up Ukraine and Jewish and all those people. They like dude, like these people, like they have a genesis. They have a prelude. They came from somewhere, dude.
Right.
But it's not the Bible, dude. Can you find them in the Bible? Yeah, because they do type similar shit, like, you know, the Sabbath and shit, like the Bible and all that. But that don't explain that they're the real Jews. you know, or whatever.
I mean,
It's
if you
just
wanna use the Bible to like figure them out, you say they're the Pharisees or the Sadducees. You know what I mean? So who are the Jews? Bro, Jews in every movie, they're merchants. You feel me?
yeah,
They're the sellers of goods. You know what I mean? So in all these
exactly like you
ancient
said.
movies, we think, this is how Latinos and poor people think. They watch these movies and they see somebody selling on the street and they're like, oh, that's a poor person because he's selling oranges on the street. But in biblical times, that person selling on the street, he was the businessman. He was
Yeah.
Macy's. You know what I mean?
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. Like, for example, we're talking about Jesus, right?
Yeah.
Jesus, you know that Jesus was kicking it with Peter, right? Peter and
Yeah.
James, right? I don't know how deep. But what did Peter and James have? The other disciples or the other apostles didn't have. They had a boat, dog. Like you see, everybody wanted to play Jesus like he was a humble guy. He was kicking it with some rich motherfuckers. Back then, if you had a boat in those days, bro,
Yeah.
you was rich. You know, like they think Jesus was like a homeless guy. No, Jesus was kicking it with some ballers, bro. Even in fact, our prince came and told him, "Hey, bro, what can I do to? Hey, homie, just give all your shit away, like kind of shit, like." But he didn't tell that to Peter, right? Like, nah, don't give your boat away. But, you know, but Jesus do like, do you know that part? Like Jesus, not he was not. I'm not saying he only walked around with rich people, but he had some rich motherfuckers along, and like
No,
Peter
no,
and James, bro. Like, you know,
that's a very good perspective that you put it out there because people think that it's well, let's understand psychology, bro. It's really difficult to go ahead.
now go ahead, bro. I wasn't gonna say nothing.
No, it's really difficult to get into the mind of somebody that lived 50 years ago. You know what I mean? Because 50
Yeah,
years ago, people thought different. You know what I mean?
just 50 years ago, yo, just 50, yo.
Yeah, that's only 50 years ago. Like women, like we were talking about women earlier, women 50 years ago didn't think like women 50 like the women they do now.
Hell nah.
You know, like women 50 years ago, they didn't even want to go out and work. You feel me? They wanted to stay home. They wanted to cook. They wanted to clean. They wanted to take care
Yeah,
of the babies.
I
You know
told
what
you
I
he's
mean?
spiteful though. Yeah,
You know, women stayed home and men went out and had the job. Okay, now, women nowadays, like the worst thing they could do is stay home.
oh yeah, they look down on women like that nowadays,
Right.
especially
So
here.
Right. So my point is now is like imagine if trying to go 100 years ago and trying to understand how people lived, how they thought, how they talked, how they acted, how they ate 100 years ago. Imagine going back to biblical time, bro. Is you have to be like a high level of understanding to really like what you said, like really understand that. You know what I mean?
Got to be more contemporary shit, bro.
I mean,
You
I
gotta
mean, look,
with the
I
times.
just learned a phrase in Spanish that I adopted. You know what I mean? That this life is de vivos. You know what I mean? Meaning that this life is for the I would say the skilled, the knowledgeable, the wise. You feel me? This life isn't for dummies. If you're a dummy in this life, you're gonna stay hitting your head on the ground, bro. You're gonna stay falling. You're gonna stay with bumps and bruises. You're gonna stay scarred. You're just gonna stay hurting and suffering. You know what I mean? But if you
Oh yeah,
become you like in Spanish is está la palabra the word vivo. You know what I mean? Meaning alive. You know what I mean? Meaning alert. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So if you do become alert, bro, it doesn't matter what country you go to. You can make it anywhere or anytime because you understand, like I told you, we want skills, bro. We don't want a check. We don't want a stimulus check. We don't want somebody to give us a job. You know what I mean? We
yeah,
want skills.
yeah. Don't give me a fish. Teach me how to fish.
Exactly. We don't want somebody to give us a fish and cook us a fish. You know what I mean? No, we want to teach me how to fish and then gut the fish and then cook the fish. I don't even eat fish, but I understand fishing is a skill.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
feel me? I don't eat fish, but I don't knock the fishing trade. You know what I mean? As far as a skill, I believe like if when I have a school, I'm teaching all the kids, boys and girls, how to fish. So
Yeah,
so when we go back to the Bible and you're talking about, yeah, these dudes that was on a boat and that was their own boat, they wasn't just average people. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Or or
oh
or
yeah,
or Abraham. You know, it says that Abraham came from the city or the town of Ur. You know what I mean? And he took all his tribe, like all his family, and they moved them to Bethlehem. You know what I'm saying? Do you know how much, bro?
that motherfucker was rich, bro. If
Bro,
anything, Abraham was balling.
bro. Even today, bro, it costs money to move. You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah, no
costs
shit.
money to move, and that's just to move yourself. Imagine to move like a whole family. You know what I mean?
Oh, bro. No, yeah, I get you. And that's the thing. Like people don't understand. Like, all right, dude. Like my sister, right? She got adopted by this lady, bro. She's a nice
Yeah,
lady. She care about children and Christian lady, right?
yeah,
She even took me in, but I told you though, I was a badass kid, man. I was surprised that she took me in, you
yeah,
know. But she couldn't deal with me. I was too much of a bad motherfucker, bro. You
yeah,
know.
yeah.
But what you call she care about children, dude. She care about children and
God
she
bless her.
goes to she goes to Mexico. Yeah, but my sister was ungrateful to her, bro. For some reason, like she dissed her. You know, I don't know why, but she felt like it was a fake family, and she got out of there, right? I don't know. I'm grateful to the lady. I'm grateful for what she did for my sister, right?
Right.
But dude, she cared about children. She even went to Mexico as a missionary and helped the poor kids in Mexico, and she did all that shit, right?
Right.
But now, like you know me, bro. I don't agree with that shit in Palestine, bro. I hate that shit in Palestine. What happened, bro? You know, and I don't talk to the lady. I was trying to befriend her, and I remember, talking shit against the Jewish people and all that shit when I became this Israelite, because I'm not, bro. You know, I realized this old bullshit. Nobody's an Israelite, and if we fall under that fucking deal, bro, we're gonna start acting like those Jewish people, bro. And next thing you're gonna be doing the crimes, and everybody's gonna start hating you. So
Yeah.
don't believe that shit. Let that shit
Yeah.
like just be a good motherfucker, man. But
Right.
I remember telling her all this shit about fucking those Jews being fake and we the real Israelites, and she got offended, bro. She even blocked me. She won't talk to me no more, bro. Cause she really like Jewish people, dude. You
Yeah.
know. And now that I'm not into that shit, I went back on her page, just trying to hit her up, just want to be mutual and want to be cool with the lady.
Yeah.
And well, she won't talk to me either way. But I see on her post, she's like, "We stand with Israel,"
Yeah.
and I'm thinking to my mind, like, why? When you love children, you used to help children. Why would you be with these people that they don't care? They just bombing, and they keep saying this October 7th, and they always want to trick people like you support Hamas. Bro, I put it like this: if they ever ask me this question, I'll be like, "Fuck Hamas and fuck Israel, both of you."
Right.
Because the kids have nothing. I tell them both of you, fuck both of you. I don't support neither one of you. Fuck both of you.
Right.
I'll be like that.
Yeah.
But her, she's a Christian though, and she
That's
really
what it is.
believes that this is God's chosen people, and she always goes back to Abraham. I'm only bringing up the story because you brought up Abraham.
Yeah.
And one of the things that the Most High in the Bible tells Abraham is that whoever blesses you, whoever blesses thee, I will bless them.
Yeah.
And people want to take it like in generation after generation, later thousands of years. No, like you said, Abraham was rich, bro. When he went somewhere, somebody was trying to fuck his wife or something, and God or angel show up to this king like, "Hey, bro, you can't sleep with his wife," because Abraham was trying to pretend that was his sister. I don't know if you know the story.
Yeah.
And just so nobody like fuck him up or try to like rape his wife and take him by force and kill him. And so he'd be like, "Hey, just tell everybody you're my sister." Then the king will try to take this woman to the chamber, Abraham's wife. And later on, an angel appears, to this king, like, "Hey, bro, what you doing?" "Oh, no, you better not touch that girl, bro. The Most High is gonna curse you." So that king will be like, "Nah, man, like, what do you do to me, Abraham? Take this woman back, and here's some money." That's the blessing, bro. Like, the Bible wasn't talking about years later, like support the children of Abraham, you know. even if they're bombing children, and I will, because these people under some fucking local shit, bro. They think they're supporting these assholes. They're gonna be blessed by the Most High. So they're like, we support Israel, even though they're bombing children. It's because you're so lost with the Kool-Aid in the Bible. You think that, like, you really, like I said, it's missing 30 books, first of all, bro. Like, it could be more to the story, right? But right there, it's telling you that some people, they were doing Abraham wrong, and the Most High will get them. And those people that, that he did right, like the Most High, like, he could have killed that king. He didn't kill him. He blessed him instead. He was cool. And later on, the fucking king came and gave the fucking Abraham some money. Like, he got out of here, hooked him up, and the Most High blessed him. He didn't fuck with that guy, right? That's what the fucking scripture was about. Like, whoever fucking blesses you, I'm gonna make sure I'm cool with them. That's what the Bible say, right? But these people take it like thousands of years later, it's talking to them. It has nothing to do with today, bro. You don't have to support these people because you think, because that whole thing with Abraham, you don't got to do this shit, man. You just got to, like, just come on, man. You have some common sense. Don't do that shit. Stop reading the Bible like that. Like, be righteous. I'm pretty sure, bro. Like I told you, we're in a new matrix. I'm pretty sure, bro. If you're righteous, the Most High is gonna bless you. You're not doing nothing wrong when you say, homie, that's wrong what you're doing there. Even if you believe that's God's people, because God's people still fucked up in the Bible, bro. A lot. So they could be fucking up right now. You shouldn't be just going along with it, because you might be in part of this curse that they put in on themselves right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just pretend that's God's people. You might be participating in the curse they're about to get for what they're doing by fucking, but And I just want to clarify that whole I will bless you if I will bless whoever blesses you. That was just talking about Abraham in those times. They weren't talking about no Israeli people and then, or we just talking about them, bro, by him and shit. That's it. But they go all crazy, dude. And of course, Isaac and Jacob, it was talking in those times, bro. And talking about some crazy shit right now. And I'm gonna bless you if you're okay with these fools bombing children and all that shit. That's what I'm saying. This bombing, bro, gotta stop. And you gotta stop calling yourself the Israelite, because then later on you're gonna be evil like these motherfuckers doing some evil shit, though. Thinking you God's chosen people. In fact, though, ain't that why they hated Nazis and shit? Because they thought they were the superior race.
Well,
the superior race. Ain't that what these people are thinking? Or saying that they're the superior race, the God's people, we the main motherfuckers. You guys are just Gentiles. It's like, come on, can you guys see through the fucking lines of what you're supporting? You're supporting a form of Hitler, fascism, whatever you want to call it. That's what you're doing right now when you support that type of shit. Because these guys right here saying that they're the best race in the world, and you guys are just Gentiles. What you say that word they use for us in Hebrew? Goyim. Which is like, I can feed you shit. I read the Bible. It said you can feed shit, excrement to the Goyim. You can feed them pig. You can do all that shit. That's why we're talking about the Coca-Cola and all that shit. That's why they don't care feeding us all these things. But it's like, bro, they think they're the superior race of the world. And they hate. In fact, I'm fucking so like like I said, bro, you gotta analyze shit, bro. Just analyze shit. Like, think about it. Hitler was a Christian, bro.
Mm-hmm.
He rocked the Iron Cross. He loved Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And he was killing people that thinks that Jesus wasn't nothing. It was in the Talmud, they would say that Jesus is burning the excrement and all that shit. But everybody hates Hitler, right? And they love the Jewish people. These people are fucking crazy, I'm telling you, bro. But Hitler was the Christian. And everybody in America hates Hitler, the Christian, and love the Jewish people who hates Jesus, bro. Like, these people are backwards. And now this is your opportunity to not like these motherfuckers, bro. Because they don't even like your Jesus. I mean, if you want to take all this shit literal, like, analyze this shit. Like, you're backwards. Yeah, go ahead, my bro.
No, the same thing I was gonna say about women. You feel me? And the same thing goes for Christians. We have to go back in time and analyze, why are they as backwards? Why do they believe what they believe? It's just like me, bro. Back in the day, I used to think Hitler was evil because that's what they taught me in school.
Yeah.
Only until recently that I just recently heard the translated version of his speech. How come in school they never translated his speech? Like, nobody knew German? Come on, bro.
Yeah,
There's a lot of Germans. There's a lot of Germans in the United States. So how come his
I used to
dude they
say that
never?
too. Yeah,
How come they never translated his speech? And just recently, it just started popping up in because we are at times of enlightenment, bro. A lot of people are waking up. A lot of people, and that's why we can't get frustrated, bro. Like we can't get frustrated when the sheep don't wake up, bro. And we have to accept if a sheep is a sheep, then just let them be. Like it's just like with that Bible talk, I do not entertain the Bible talk anymore, bro. Anybody that
yeah.
wants to go real deep with the Bible talk, like I accept Bible talk. Like you could talk the Bible with me, but give me the message. You feel me? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
Give me the message. You know what I mean? Give me the word. Give me the, you know what I mean, the summary of what is supposed to be done or what is the, don't, you know what I mean? Don't try to twist it and try to tell me what is and what isn't, because we just talked about that it's real difficult to go back in those days and times and analyze why people were doing it. So when we go back to the women, why are some women so lost in the sauce? Well, look what the feminist movement was doing. Do you know who was behind the feminist movement?
Some Jewish lady.
The Jews. Now it wasn't just,
Yeah.
bro, you got to understand. See, these people, they don't just move by themselves. You feel me? It's just like, for example, right here, right now, basically it's just us two and on this channel. Imagine if we had 100 brothers that, was really rocking with us and they was all tapped in and they all dropped a like and they all was chopping it up. And you know what I mean? And they were all, bro, we would be a movement, bro. 100 brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? That's how they move. You know what I mean? And I'm reading the Jewish parties. They have funk in between them, like in Israel. Like I'm just finding out that this the prime minister now, what's his name, uh,
Yeah, that
uh
fact. Yeah,
Nihuhu. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
the puto. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what
So
you're talking
so
about.
a lot of people in Israel want him out, bro. Like a lot
Yeah,
of people,
they don't even like him. They don't even
they,
like him,
they
bro.
don't even like him. Like I didn't even know that. I thought, what I mean, everybody rocks with him. So even in Israel, bro, they got different like bands or different sects that they don't rock with
Oh
each
no,
other. See,
that's what I'm saying. You can't judge all those Israeli people like as one, like, because we're going by the media, bro. We're going by the media, what we see on the media and shit.
right? You know what I'm saying? So even like yesterday, what was the first prime minister of Israel? Ben uh Ben Jeroen or something like that. I forgot his name, but he was the first prime minister of Israel, and he was
The one that got smoked, you talking about? Which one?
David Ben Gurion.
That's not the one that got assassinated, right? It was like
Nah,
it's
this
the
dude
second one that
died
came
of.
after. Yeah.
Nah, this dude died. But bro, do you know how many assassinations that Israel has done around the world, bro? They have done
Oh,
more
for
than
sure.
1,000 assassinations, bro. I'm talking
Hey,
about like
who we talking about? We talking about the elites, right? Because like you know,
look. Look. See, I'm gonna start, doing the readings on this stuff and just basic. So there's three bunch. You got Mossad. Mossad is the CIA of them. They're the Central Intelligence, but foreign affairs. You feel me? So Mossad is the ones that's here in the United States. They got to make sure that the United States is on the up and up. You feel me? Then you
okay,
got
okay.
the other clique that's inside. They're the Central Intelligence, but for their, you feel me, their pod, their
Yeah,
Israel.
yeah.
And then you got the military intelligence. So they got three different intelligence. See,
Okay.
so see, that's what I'm doing. That's where I'm at. You feel me? Like I'm just looking up all this stuff from the gate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey,
No, yeah.
br-
That's
brother,
good.
brother Messi just sent me a message, man, that he was checking us out for a minute. What's up, brother
Oh, that's
Messi?
good. That's good. That's good, man.
Yeah,
How you
when you
doing,
get a
brother
chance,
Messi?
man, tap in, man. You know what I mean? This today's the end of the Aztec Mayan calendar, brother Mesh. I know you already know that. You know what I'm saying? So tomorrow
Shit, hope.
I might be going to a ruin over here and celebrating the new day. You know what I mean? It's also the zodiac calendar. You know what I mean? That's how you know. See, people be like, "Oh, I don't believe in that, bro." Do you believe in math? Do you know what I mean? Do you believe in mathematics? You know what I'm saying? Because that's all a calendar is. You know what I'm saying? This is a cycle. I don't see people is just it's just about sports, bro. Everybody, oh, I'm a Dodger fan. I'm a Giant fan. I'm a Yankee fan. So you got to be with one. Why you can't just like the game? You feel me? Why you can't just appreciate somebody that can hit a ball and run around the bases? You know what I mean? No, you got to be a fan. No, you got to pick a side. You got to choose a color. You know what I mean? So people is just lost in the sauce, bro. And I don't have no time or tolerance to be you know what I mean? I'm learning, bro. I'm growing. So so in biology, I learned a phrase. It says whatever isn't growing is dying. So I have to
Yeah,
recognize, bro, if you're not, that's like I told you what I told my wife, and I recommended, you know what I mean, that you tell you, like I tell her all the time, look, if we're not growing together, we're growing apart. So you better
yeah,
do what you got to do. You know what I mean? Don't stand still. Don't stagnate, because before you know it, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, and I'm a different man and you're still the same person. It's just
yeah,
like, you know, like back in the day when I used to be eating hamburgers and stuff like that. Okay, me and the other girl, we used to eat hamburgers together. But what happens if she still want to eat hamburgers and I'm vegan now? Well, we got to grow apart. Sayonara, salute, deuces. You know what I mean? Because you want to eat meat and I don't. You know what I mean? And I don't want to rock
yeah,
with nobody, especially a female. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be, you know what I'm saying, next to a meat eater like that, especially a woman. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh
So
yeah,
so
bro.
yo, so back to all this, bro. There's still so much to, you know what I mean, to let's be humble, bro. Let's keep growing, let's keep learning. You know what I mean? Let's keep being an example to other people. You know, let's learn how to control the elements, bro. Earth, wind, fire, water. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a magical realm, bro. You just we didn't talk about it, but you just you said last week you ate some mushrooms, bro. Well, that told you that shit wasn't playing a trick with your mind. You wasn't hallucinating. That wasn't fake what you saw. Everything that you saw was real. You was just in the spirit world.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I was mentioning to you that, yeah, bro. I could see like I was watching TV. You say that you were doing the ayahuasca stuff, right? And you got to
I
do it
did
like in nature, right?
right.
And not around fucking demons like watching TV and all
Yeah,
that. Yeah, bro.
you did that all wrong, bro. You did that all
Yeah, I
wrong,
did.
but it was a learning
I was
experience.
yeah, I was watching TV and everybody in the TV, bro. I could see like fucking. I could see under their flesh, bro. They like look like demons. They look weird. You know, it was. And my wife was like, "It's because that's how you look at the world. You think of, you know." But then you were like, bro, like you were like, dude, you know who used to do this shit? The priests used to do this shit, just so they can get in touch with the spiritual side and all that. And maybe we are mishandling these things, bro. You know, and maybe we shouldn't be going into those things until we detox. You know that, cause yeah, I saw a bunch of demons when I did that shit the other day, bro. I had to close my eyes, like see no evil, you know, hear no evil, cause the TV was still going, and I can hear like you know their voices sounded weird and all that shit, though. So it was some crazy experience, and I was very tired. Like I tried that shit before, and it didn't do nothing to me before, bro. But I just got back from the road. I was tired. I couldn't sleep on the road, and I took a glass of wine. You know what I mean? I took a little tea of weed, and then I did that shit, and you know all that shit combined, bro, just hit me hard, though. And I was just seeing a bunch of shit, and I respected the thing more because I didn't respect that shit before. I do that shit. I could do that. I'm learning respect, bro. Certain things you just gotta have respect for, bro. You know, just leave it alone. If you're not ready to see some shit, don't do that shit. But yeah, it was a crazy
But
experience, my
my
bro.
my point is, what you saw wasn't imaginary. It wasn't you hallucinating. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You just unlocked a part of your brain. You got to remember, bro, that we can only use a certain amount of our brain. Or just like, you know, when I was learning about the audio, you know what I mean, you know, with the music, you know, there's a spectrum of frequencies that we can hear. You know, we can't
yeah,
hear lower than 100 or 50, low, you feel me, and 20,000 high. We can't go higher or lower than that as a human. But animals, they could see and hear lower or higher depending on the animal. Well,
Yeah.
same thing with our sight. You feel me? Same thing with our sight, that we can only see certain spectrums of color or light, while other animals, they could see in different spectrums of light, higher or lower. Same thing with our smell. We only have a certain range of smell that we supposed to smell. Animals, they can smell a lot more. Same thing, or to make it long, our senses, right? God limited us for a reason, bro. So what does that mean? That if we could break those limits through drugs or through inner like training, discipline, or through drugs, or through a higher blessing, bro, you can't, like you was like saying you can never walk on water. That's cap. Because you know what I mean, there's certain insects that could walk on water, but that's because they were made to walk on water. But the point is that someone can walk on water. Because when we learn more about the science, you know what I mean? When we become more scientists, you will unlock all these things. That's why I keep recommending, bro. Like, don't limit yourself with educating. Like, learn everything that you can, because there's little tidbits of information and wisdom everywhere, bro. Just like, bro, I'm surprised that I'm learning about the Mayan calendar, the Mayan language. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like I'm like years ago, I would have never thought that I would be talking or sounding or be interested in the things that I'm interested in. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a completely changed. I've literally had a rebirth. You feel me? Just like, in the Bible it says, bro, you have to kill yourself and you have to be reborn. A lot of people are not. A lot of people are still the same person that they were 20, 30, 10 years ago. Not me.
Yeah. Oh, it's just it's deeper shit, bro. But you got to do a lot of go within type of shit. I believe in different realms. Maybe you can't walk on water in this realm, but in the next one you could. You see, I believe that life is about letting go, bro. That's why you lose your hair. That's why you lose your teeth.
Yeah.
That's why even you lose your body, because at the end of
Everything's
it,
temporary.
you fly out of here, dog. That's the only time you're gonna walk on water type of shit. Everything's metaphorical, dog. Like it's not literal.
But everything isn't metaphorical, because if you look at the science, bro, we're just atoms, bro. Like the stuff that we're talking about, you know what I'm saying? The atoms are vibrating, bro. That's why there is things that could, change and stuff like that. What's up?
Yeah.
What's up with Brother Mesh? Is you on, Mesh? Is you live? Is
Brother
your audio
Messi,
working?
brother Messi back on the site.
He said he was having problems with the audio. I don't know if he's just blessing us with the imagery. Mesh be having some logos be.
That's what's up.
I don't know if he can hear us, but Mesh, bro, you still having problems with the mic, bro? You still having?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, bro. What's up, bro?
What's up, Mesh?
What's going on? I was man, bro. Sometimes when I do connect to the net, I be watching some sitcoms, some shows. Like everything else is just like I don't want to say whack, but no, you know what I'm saying. But it's just like it's not. I want something captivating, right? But I be watching,
Right.
trying to find something to watch while I'm online and doing some other work, multitasking. Yes, there's nothing out there. And I was like, man, let me see what's going on over here. Because I was looking, and what brought me to try to come back and looking at some of these old channels or links, bros, because a couple of days ago when I was trying to find something to watch, I saw about the bullshit with Sakari.
What
I was
happened?
like,
Sorry?
what?
I
Like,
thought I thought
I
they were
always,
done.
and
Didn't they break up?
what tripped me out is like how it's like I don't know if I heard it, where I heard it, but not how they say that. It's time. Time tells all, bro. It's
Right.
eventually, fake is always gonna, say
Yeah.
expose themselves and shoot themselves on the foot with that. What was that? That white dude, that white black dude, Alizar,
Or Alizar, yeah.
homosexual. I like what?
Homosexual? What? Whatever.
Yeah.
What? Hey, hold on. What do you mean?
It don't surprise me though, because it's part of their rituals. Anything, with them undercover, saying them secret so-called societies,
Right.
it's their initiations, everything the
Yep.
opposite of biblical, saying.
Yep.
So,
Hold on,
no
Messi.
homosexuality here.
Messi. Hold on. You expose that shit. What do you mean? Almost.
I'm
What's going
thinking
on
y'all would
there?
all more. I thought y'all were more on that than me. Y'all know,
Nah, bro.
chopping it
Not
up
at
on the
all.
net. I'm like,
Well,
Not
but
we've
at
been on
anyway,
the
all.
no, that was not.
politics, I guess, more. But
Yeah,
what's going
yeah,
on?
I've been hitting a lot of that politics down south, especially with all that Trump, moves. But no, with as
I,
far as that Sakari thing, bro, is that I really went on to I went to Sarnetta because he done a lot of changes, and he on some dumb
yeah.
fake shit too. But he's trying to, he's for his people, so I
He's
ain't trying to
bringing his
knock his
channel back
people.
up. Yeah, I seen that. Yeah.
He's trying to remake himself, rebrand himself, because he done got into a mess of, of whatever, But anyway, with one of his little shows that he brought out, he was talking about how, he was really spitting how, he was saying something to the effect that how it's always your own people that bring you down. But he was referring to he was touching on Sakari or Alizar's situation. I like what happened there. So I went into Sakari and then I looked it up and then I didn't find none. And I saw some reactions to some other camps and they were saying that he liked that with that somebody his second wife exposed his messages, his text messages or conversations with him on some private issues that should have been like a behind the door type thing. So he was he was having her buy some sex toys, so that what you call them, it's like that belt that has that penis on the drawers. You know what I'm
Strap
saying?
on. Strap on.
Yeah, I forget.
Damn.
That was the first time I ever heard the name to that thing. It was a pay leg or a pay gig or something like that.
Oh,
They call that thing.
yeah,
And
pegging. Yeah, pegging.
yeah, so he was telling her to buy that so she could do him, right? And then but she wanted to, I
Damn.
don't know, it's a whole BS, what I'm saying? That I was like, what? Eventually somebody was gonna, expose him because just how his energy is on trying to supposedly, scoff the world that he's the only righteous and all knowing because he never could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? Eventually it pressed too much upon his wife that she like, man, fuck you too. So she exposed the text messages. She recorded all
Damn.
that. He a homosexual, bro. And that's just to give you an idea of just for what he was interacting with his wife with. And then his other wife came out too. Well, friends of
Yeah, I was
his
about to
first
say that.
wife came out. They said they were saying that he was doing that even with his first wife. So that goes back even further. So and that's just with that, Imagine how many out there that he really used the real male to have him, penetrate him, paint
Wow.
it. So I think
Ooh.
I don't want to imagine or like man, bro, that's crazy, man. And then
Oh
of course
man.
I went to that brother. What's his name? The one day he always exposes them camps.
Ooh.
But anyway, I went to his channel because he always exposes all them camps, garbage, and then sure enough, he did a video on it, and
Who was that? Is that
and there,
the Dominican bro? The Dominican brother?
is he a Dominican?
I
Wait, let
think
me
so,
see. I
right?
think I might have some. I forget his website. But he always exposes them cats. Pero el punto was that there were some people. Oh man, everybody falls off because they're going off of that Christian thing, right? You know what I'm saying? Because they call themselves Hebrew Israelites, but they're always using the Christian. You know what I'm saying? To because it's like how the Christians say that man, we're humans. We make mistakes. Okay, mistake is one thing about you calling somebody out their name when you're preaching, when you got heated in the moment, or you might have fought
Yeah.
with one of the brothers, scuffle up and what I'm saying, got a lip busted or whatever. Man, dude, how in the hell you gonna slip into a peg leg? You know what I'm saying? That's straight, evil shit. Like you straight
That's a
homosexual from
fetish.
the beginning. And
Yeah,
on
that's a
top of that,
fetish.
you supposedly the spiritual leader of the so-called Israelite movement. And then if you were homosexual, then bro, you were all throughout your whole life. So your whole spirit is tainted. So how are you gonna come back from that type of I could understand some. I mean, I don't know, bro. It's like something that you need to really break down, but that's not something
Damn,
that like,
bro.
oh man,
I'm gonna be real, bro. You just hit me with a left hook right there, bro. I didn't see that one coming at all. You know,
It didn't surprise me when I heard it. I just started laughing. Like, man, I knew something he was
I
about
mean,
to, you
cause
know. And then
like you said, they be on the streets, bro, talking all that shit about homosexuals and all that stuff, and then I don't know, man. You know, yeah, you hit me with the hook right there with the left one too.
and
That's a
then you
sneaky
got
one,
all
bro.
the what's them cats that were with him now. All of a sudden they're gonna try to do damage control, you know, because them wasn't them the other two left that and created their own camp in Atlanta. So y'all fools know
Oh,
that,
okay.
you know what I'm saying? They're gonna try to play that little,
Oh,
damage control. And
He was in
I would just
Atlanta
leave that
too.
shit alone. Yeah, he's talking about Deacon, no?
uh,
The Deacon,
yeah,
bro.
and that him and that other light skinned dude, you know, instead that's with him,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
kind
yeah.
of.
Hassad, what's his
There
name?
you go. Yeah, and
Yeah.
so I mean, come on, bro. They do that. Do had the audacity to get online and try to, clean it up and do some fake tears, Hollywood shit. But everybody's always known that they've been under that secret society thing, and part of their initiation is to violate the laws of, saying, of the creator, and and one of them is to get. It's just like Diddy, you know what I'm saying? You want to get famous and everything, you got to, what I'm saying, go and break,
And it's got to be
break
doing
all
this
the
Diddy
laws.
times, bro. Damn, doing
Man,
this Diddy times.
and it's
You
all
know?
African Americans, bro. The majority. I mean, come on, man. Why would they give them? Because before Diddy, I forget who gave him the baton. I forget the name of that. He was a well-known actor back then. So they've been passing the baton throughout, say all Hollywood generations, right? Because it trips me out how even when I remember when what's her name Jennifer Lopez married. I was still behind the wall then. I'm like, man, what the hell is wrong with this bitch? Because I'm like, just bouncing around from dude to dude to dude, like you just straight prostituting yourself, you know what I'm saying? Just for that fame and that success, not money. It's just like they say, the world's given to the wicked. So, you want to be part of this, you got to pass through the flames and break all the laws of the book. You know what I'm saying? So you got to, bend over, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to suck on this, you got to suck on that, male or female or beast or whatever,
Yeah,
and sure
that's that
enough,
Holly
all that's
weird
coming
shit,
out.
man.
That's
Yeah, that's
that's
Holly
just
weird. And that's why I'm like, bro, that you see how he be like, like he be walking up to men like, hey, black man, I mean, you're a god. And, it's like he just be on that kissing each other. Like, we just men, bro. Stop doing that shit to each other, talking about, you a god and, da da da. All that shit got to, you can kind of see the gay shit in there now, bro. Now that you're exposing this shit, like,
man,
that's
they
crazy.
pretty much expose themselves.
That's
They're doing that
crazy, bro.
Catholicism thing with the priest, bro. It's like, imagine how many, saying upcoming, Hebrew Israelites came up under him that he done penetrated, got penetrated by. You know what I'm saying? Come
Hey, man,
on,
isn't
man.
that against the
And they
Bible
use,
though? Isn't that
I
against the
say,
Bible all that gay shit?
but he's the
What,
holy, he's the Levi priest. You know what I'm saying? For
I
them
mean,
people.
He's
any
holy
Levi
for
priest
real.
did some shit like that? Damn, dog, they just going way off. They just way off to the fucking off, bro.
It's just a domino effect because you got all that, what I'm saying? First of all, you got all the individual cases where everybody get busted, what I'm saying, either raping the females or males. And then, or, down the line, you got that Diddy. And then all of a sudden, he's exposing a lot of other male, figures in the game, what I'm saying? Because even, Will Smith is on that list of FBI, with all that Diddy case. A lot of them cats, because I like, man, bro,
What if
good move. Good. I
what?
like his movies, and the Denzel Washington's on that list too. Where when they go to the Democratic, say, or them all them political parties, when they abusing kids, because I found that video when there was this little young female that she said that she was one of them kids. She said they had them on a table at the entrance of some mansion, and then they had, like, how you go to a birthday party, you leave little gift bags there. You know what I'm saying?
Shit.
Where the desk, but they had gift bags, but they had, the kids were there, what I'm saying? And so whoever at any moment could just go get a kid and go do your thing. And
Damn.
she said she was one of them, and she said she hated all. She seemed all erratic, I guess, based on her trauma, right? But she's like,
Damn.
and then the white lady that kept trying to sell her, come on, and encourage her to, bust it out, expose them. You got to let the world know. And she said, but out of all of them, I kind of, you know, like she was trying to say that she didn't enjoy it, but she liked it when it was with Denzel Washington, right? Because he has a mean streak, but he would always treat me right, and I like, what? Like,
Damn.
come on.
Denzel too? Denzel
Yeah,
too, bro?
so that's what I'm
Damn.
saying, bro. It's all that, man.
Damn.
what's that Janus, that so-called pagan god of Greece, the Janus double face, you know what I'm saying? You got that black and white
Yeah,
right there, bro. It's always been that. It's always been them. You know what I'm saying? And then you got
man, that's
our
crazy.
brothers, you know what I'm saying, trying to mimic them. That's what trips me out. And I get it, bro, because just coming out the streets, you know what I'm saying, like you straight thugging it or whatever. Because back in the day, I'm a '80s baby, right? Well,
Yeah,
mid '80s baby. But anyway, the point is, back in the day, like in my region, it was all based on race, right? You know what I'm saying? This side of the tracks is African Americans. This side of the tracks is Mexicans and like that, you know. And in the Shy, you got everybody. You got Chinatown, you got Jewtown, you got the Puerto Ricans, you got everyone got their own little. Everybody huddles up with their own. But the point I'm trying to
yeah,
make is that every clique is pretty much racially orientated, right? But then towards like like the mid '80s, I started, when I was already in the joint, I started seeing brothers coming in different shades, right? When I was in juvie, in the max juvie, there was a straight Chinese, bro, like straight, Asian, like. I mean, I ain't trying to be disrespectful. It's just the facial characteristics. His eyes was literally just like, I used to, when we used to just light up in the yard, flame up some
Valentino.
wood or whatever, just chill, chilling, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, man, bro, abre los ojos, cabrón. You know what I'm saying? Like, God damn, bro.
Yeah,
Because I know what I did. I smoked that green, you know what I'm saying? El lugo, se me hacen chiquitos los ojos cuando se ponen rojos, you know what I mean? Pero puto como que literalmente los tenía cerrados, and I used to just don't cap on them, like, man. But anyway, he was straight Asian. But then I started bumping into a lot of brothers, que eran negros, but they were Puerto Ricans. But they were
yeah,
Latino Africans, you know what I'm saying? It's like Puerto Rican or Cuban or a Brasileño, you know what I'm saying? So, but they were
yeah,
brothers. But they were the ones that
yeah.
opened the door to the African Americans, you know what I'm saying? Because the Latinos, at least they spoke Spanish and they did that salsa thing and all that. But the African Americans is totally different. But
But
I
you
get
see,
the fact that, some.
you see, that's what I was like last time. I know a lot of people took it offensive. Like I don't like dissing people's race or anything, bro. But like how they call Mexicans, racist for calling black people mayates and all that, bro. And I was just trying to explain to people, and some people got offended, like, nah, nah, nah. Like you know what a mayate is in Mexico, right? Meshi, right? That's
Yeah,
a, like
but you know
that's
what?
a gay
It,
guy.
it, but it
So
was
I
never
mean, I was just
derogatory, bro.
that's what I'm saying. They were just calling him back then. I'm saying now is the way bros use that word is like, yeah, they mean it to disrespect a black person, but back then they call them because the black dudes were raping a lot of fools in jail, and
But
they're
check
still
this
doing
out.
it.
But
You
check
know?
this out. Just touching
Yeah,
on that topic that you just hit, right? It's a cultural difference within a cultural difference. It's like little levels even within that, because
but
you know,
yeah,
saying when it's like, and the point I'm trying to make is that because when I was hearing it, saying in the growing up in the joint, saying Mayate was just saying it's like a black dude to us because we weren't hip with
to
that
you, yeah,
Latino or our
yeah,
cultures back home. Until I
yeah,
got back home, when I got deported, is that when I bumped into, I was in the kitchen, I was drinking, my aunt, sips up and smokes and everything too, and she has females, nothing but females at the crib. We just chilling, we smoking, and we just chilling. And then I went to the kitchen to go get another beer, and then I heard him talking to Mayate, like Mayate, and I'm thinking, was it a black dude or what? Like, nah, it's que she was like, well, she just explained to him, and she's like, nah, so Mayate is a dude that likes it,
yeah,
it's a Elazar move, you know what I'm saying? Supposedly,
yeah,
he likes to get
yeah,
yeah, I guess to give from the back, but he don't like to, he likes to
yeah,
know. My bad. It's the other way around. He gives it, but he doesn't get it from the back.
yeah. That's why, yeah,
And
my aunt will climb another, yeah, another, yeah, another
yeah,
dude and shit.
and then I didn't never have my interpretation. As I grew up using the word mayate, I never had that in mind. I always,
Yeah.
to me, it was un negro,
Well, I
prieto
always knew
negro.
about it. I always knew about it because I came from south of the border, right? So when I used to like, people be calling bros dad, and I'd be like, and they think they diss and all. Like, the bug is first of all like fucking green. It's not even black or anything, bro. It's a green bug and shit. I'm like, and I was trying to explain to dudes like, you really calling him a faggot type of shit. No, bro, we call them mayate because they look like mayates. And man, we can tie them up to a string like they used to hang them. And the fuck out of here, bro. That's not what it is. I was like, so I remember back in the days, 1950s, the 60s, and a lot of immigrants came over. They'll get locked up, and black dudes are bigger than them, and they used to take advantage. That's how you started, like Santana and the M in the movie American Me. They always play there was a white guy that raped them. And first of all, that guy never got raped in real life, bro. But the raping that was really going on was the black dudes, bro. Because they're bigger. They're bigger than the white guys and they're bigger
It's
than
a
the Hispanic
cultural.
dudes.
I think it's a DNA thing, bro.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't think
baby.
it's just cultural.
It goes back to those days. So when we got a hold of that word, we was really like, well, not me, because more like you. Like I said, I already knew that fucking word because I come from south of the border. You know, I went through Mexico. They've been talking like that. So when I came across the Chicanos over here, bro, they were using that word, and I can tell that they doing it in a racist way. But you know, then I went and did my deep history. Even I put that fool Caesar, because Caesar didn't know about it. What's his name? Joshua
Yeah,
Caesar, right? That fool didn't know
he
about it, so
got
he
it
was
from
oh shit.
he got it from that other brother. Es un viejito. I don't know his name.
Who?
What's
Who Caesar? No,
este?
I put him on that shit.
No,
I put Caesar.
nah,
I
bro.
put.
It was it's like the reason maybe you did if
I
but the
did
thing
talk to
is
him.
that
I
but
talked to
check
him
this out.
about it, and then he did a video on it. That's how I know. But
Nah, because you could see the evolution of that brother. You know, what I'm saying it's not to find
yeah,
pinpoints of errors in the brother and nothing like that. You know,
yeah.
but at least what I took is that other brother, porque era is that brother with glasses, un viejito. He does a lot of TikToks. But you could
Okay.
see his
Oh no,
evolution when
el
he
pelón, el pelón, el pelón.
no creo. Yo creo. I think he does have hair. I'm not sure. After you have to
Oh, I
probably
thought it
ever
was both.
just went some time, look into his channel and go. But yes, oh my god, that many, bro. That it's like just to go
Yeah,
find it, right? Like a needle on a haystack. But the point
yeah,
is that he when he touches on a subject, it's because he heard it from someone else or he saw it somewhere else. I never really saw
yeah,
something like inspirational coming out of him, like it sprung out of him. But the point when they
yeah.
heard when because there was a little TikTok, he talked to one of the brothers. And that was that no ese viejito, I don't know his name. I'm sure you know him though, but if you see him,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
pero he spoke to him and he didn't get on. He got on and he spoke a little and then he explained it to him. And then like the next show or two shows after that, then all of a sudden, saying he comes up with that. But he never did use that before that. So you could start sometimes in some issues, not all of them, that you could see
Yeah,
that progression that he has, that he takes it from others, but he doesn't credit them or not. He has it, and he goes off as if it was his. You know what I'm saying? He
yeah,
does have
yeah,
that
yeah.
habit,
Yeah,
pero
he went.
with
But
cultural ignorance is
when I talked to him about it, he acted like he didn't know about it or anything. So I was like, I was just letting him know, yeah, bro, that word. And then he went and did a video the next day after that, you know. But I was trying to tell him, so we really, bro, we got to stop dissing black people like that, bro. Like, you know, because you sound racist, dude. It's not really some racist shit. We got to teach the history of what really happened, bro. And there, it is a lot of homosexuality going on in the African American culture, dog. And
and Latinos too, bro.
that's
Also,
what I
but
was
the
gonna
thing
say.
is,
I, while,
To be
while
honest,
y'all
it's
was
us too. You
while
know,
y'all
we're
was
doing
reading,
that shit too.
I was
You know,
looking up the statistics, and there's a high statistics of Latinos in the United
yeah,
States that's
yeah.
LGBTQ,
Yeah,
like
but you know
high.
what? It's the thing is, I'm not trying to justify or clean anything. Pero I mean, I'm not like a man, bro. You know, what I'm saying like I could, my hood was like Chicago was the most racially segregated, during the
Is
80s,
it?
and I'm saying,
Oh,
and,
okay.
and I mean, compared to a lot of other areas, bro, the state there's always it's because it has a history with the architectural, design of that area.
Yeah,
Pero bueno, the point I'm trying to make is that at one point I grew to understand, saying that there were black, saying in our clique, and I'm like, man, how in the hell is that possible? But you know what I'm saying? So, but like, and you started seeing that in other cliques, saying you like black cliques, you had Latino Mexicans in there. I'm like, what the hell's going on with this? Like in the 90s, ya como que se hizo un papaya, you know what I'm saying? It's like
yeah,
all of a sudden, it's like everybody's everything. It's like you got Mexican Crips, you got Mexican GDs, white GDs, or Mexican Vice Lords, and that's a black clique. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing there? You know what I'm saying? And it was like a culture clash to me and coming up, and many from my generation. That's like, what the hell's going on nowadays, bro? I used to, when I got out to join, I lived in an all white neighborhood, right? Because I had parole there. Yes, and then I had one of the old school brothers come through and just sip it up, and then my brother, literally my blood brother, is an opposition to my family, to the people I run with. So they're my enemy, but the brothers of my generation, they know him, right? But anyway, he came in with some of his guys, and one of the dudes that was there with me, he just got that intimidating presence, bro. He started checking one of them. I started laughing, like, here we go. Like, as I know him from before I got locked up. He's like, it's okay listening to their music, man, but now you're gonna start looking and acting like them. Like, take them fucking braids off. He had like braids all the way to like past his shoulder. You know what I'm saying? Like them corner. I like, man, bro. And then
Hey,
I didn't say nothing.
And we have braids too, and natives have braids over here too.
Well,
Like
you
I
know,
hate
that
when
goes
people do that.
back down. I mean, we straight street thug niggas. We don't know about no history books, bro. We just in the street.
Oh
You
yeah,
know, all
yeah,
you know
yeah,
is
yeah.
about making that money and listening to music or rap or whatever music or house music, whatever. You know, you trying to talk to somebody that been in the joint and was forced to pick up a book because you was locked up and had nothing else to do. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
in rare the case that you may have somebody out there that's just living that thug life, but it's gonna be rare you pick up a book on your own unless you're some old school, you know, OG, you know, like trying to school you, you know, type of thing. But you know, a lot of these new cats is that they're out there just hustling, trying to make money. But that old school try to check through, like, man, what the hell you got them braids? Like, take them braids off. And I didn't say nothing to dude. They'll try to stop them because, like, first you a man, you gotta step up for yourself. You know what I'm saying? And then ya de allí, you know, if it's in, si me nace hacerte el paro, pues lo hago. But if not, but dude started trying to take off his, he started taking off his, you know, says braids. And I'm like, hey, bro, like straight punk, like you trying to act like you know, say you got an opposition right here. He ain't like a block away you're going to do a drive by. You got a, you know, it's a one-on-one tank, but dude was intimidated. But my point is this, bro, is that that racial thing, especially in the States, we experience it more like that when you live in Latin America. No está tan así. In Latin America, it's a class thing, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
wealthy
That's what I
with
was
the, you
telling.
know, with the not wealthy, right?
Yeah.
Because fresita, like, man, you know, there's un pinche fresa acá, este puto que se
Pinche
cree,
niña
right? You know, it's
fresa.
like, over here, we say, like, si fuera de San Pedro, because San Pedro over here is like the, you know, 90210
Is the,
of
Okay.
Mexico, you know what I'm saying? All the
what's
wealthy
the
people.
what's the gay capital of Mexico, Messi?
Este, sí, actually,
Everybody, there's a
no,
gay
pues check this
capital
out.
everywhere. Huh?
Well, yeah, I would say Latin America is straight Brazil, and I the way I say it, the reason I
Brazil.
say that is because of the carnival.
Oh shit.
No, but I'm
Pero,
talking I'm talking about Mexico. You know what I'm saying?
no, I know,
Because
but I'm going down the, you know, saying that little,
because even
little.
even among the people that they'll be like, you know what I mean?
In
Oh, you
Mexico
know what I mean?
City.
What would it? Yeah, what
No,
would you
that's where I'm gonna
dance?
go to, because
Dance?
there's really, like, at the top of my mind, there's no way, really, no real way to gauge that. But no, the only thing that comes to mind is the parade, because they said that they had the largest gay parade in Mexico City, and that de hecho, like Monterrey had one like recently, like there was criticism of how it was like. I think they're trying to follow suit del DF, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
yeah.
man,
That's how they
bro.
do.
But
Well,
like I
the
was
thing is,
saying,
go ahead.
yeah, go ahead. I was saying, bro, like I was telling this bro on the last live we did, there's this group called the Anti Conquista, they call it. It's a channel on YouTube. And they push all that, you know, trans and like and all that shit, bro. Like they want to be anti-conquista, they want to get away from the conqueror. But like that gay shit, bro, kind of came from the Greeks and all that shit, bro. You think we were doing like since you know more about history and all that as far as the ancestors, right? Like were they doing gay shit here before
The,
the conquest? Was there
the,
a lot of gay shit going on here?
the last time I kind of you know, actually focused, like honed in just on that topic alone was about maybe about good 4 years ago. I was trying to look at what was like a pre-conquest, you know, archaeological document codex or something that give us an idea about homosexuality over here, right? And I found
Yeah,
nothing. Y
that's what I'm
luego,
saying too.
but the thing is that the only closest thing I did come across, that's, I don't know how, have to validate maybe the authenticity of that. It was a ceramic, you know, like base. Where it was a homosexual act. There was two figures, but it was from Peru. But I didn't find nothing because I was looking in Mexico first. You know what I'm saying? I
So
ain't
what
never
happened with
found.
that? What was that?
Yeah, and then from there, I'm like, oh hell no, it's like a dagger. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Pero
man.
I mean, look, bro. I mean, we don't have to go all through all that. Just common sense will tell you that throughout history, there has to be one or two. You know what I mean? One or two. You know what I mean? Alone,
But
whatever the fuck, right? But we're
but
talking about this like
P
prominent
Diddy shit.
everywhere you look. You know what I mean? Celebrated that type shit. You know what I mean?
But
So
like
okay, so
I was bringing up the anti-conquista shit, bro. Because look, like Brother Matt said, yeah, he found something. He was looking and looking. He found one thing. Like it's not the
one
norm,
thing,
right? It's not the norm on our
right?
side. And I get it now. There's a lot of us, but this shit came from somewhere else. Like when you go look up Egypt, right? And a lot of black folk take pride in Egypt and the walls of Egypt and all that. What do you see on those walls, bro? I'm bullshitting, bro. There's a lot of gay shit on
Look,
those walls.
look. The number one,
Yeah.
the number one culture that are they
Greeks,
worship the phallic, or the
the
ones that
phallus.
we, the phallus is the ones we looked up recently, was the Khazars, which is the modern day Jewish. And that's why, when Messi brings out, what I mean, that the entertainment business, right, he has a point. The entertainment business,
Jews.
the majority of them is black, but that's only the light perspective, because even now that I've done my homework and I've done my research, like, I laugh at all the old school that supposedly, I call it gangster rap, but these motherfuckers was actors like NWA,
Yeah,
Easy
yeah.
E, Dr. Dre. You know what I'm
Hold
saying?
on,
Propagated by the
hold on,
establishment
but
to
hold on,
perpetuate the establishment.
Right.
hold
So
on, though.
so who so they put him there, you know what I mean, as the spokesperson, because it's true. Like
But hold on.
they go ahead.
I wanted to finish this whole Egypt thing though.
All right, go ahead.
All right, what did the Kemetic people say about Christians there? Where they got the Bible from, right? They say they got it from them. Like you guys plagiarized of the walls of Egypt. Everything the Greeks got, because Alexander invaded Egypt and everything he got was from there. And then they created the New Testament, and that's why you see Horace writings in red on the wall and all that shit, because it's basically Jesus and shit, bro. But anyways, like I said, my mama used to tell me, if you gotta do something, bro, good, you take credit for that. If you gotta do something bad, you better take credit for that shit too, bro. So these bros want to take credit that the civilized white people and they thought them all this shit. But when it comes down to the gay shit, the Greeks were doing that. That's just them. But hold on, bro. You claiming that you was the one that taught them everything, and there's dicks on your wall and phalluses and all that shit. And you saying that you're the original people. And yeah, like you said, you see the Khazars now, but those Khazar people, white people are the newest people according to all this shit they got out there. White people are not the oldest race, bro. They're like the newest race, like the Khazars and all that shit. Even in the Bible, the Israelites are the newest race. They came after everybody, bro. So take credit, dog. You saying that you the original people, you taught these white people everything. You taught them the gay shit too, bro. And now they're just teaching it back to you through Hollywood and all that stuff, and they're using you in whatever bit. It is what it is, and that's why I asked Messi, did you find a lot of gay shit about us? Because I know we're gay now. There's a lot of gay of us here, and there's no denying, bro. But is it because we were just naturally gay, or we really like we got to go anti-conquista on this shit too, bro? And that's what I'm saying. To be anti-conquista, we got to get rid of all this shit that brought to us. I mean, from the pork all the way to the gay shit. You know, uh,
You know
because
what?
it's the
There's a
population. It's the population in many
there's
words, bro.
a
That's what we're
when I
doing here.
first when I first read that book on the Alexander the Greek, is
Yeah, the gay.
it took me a minute to yeah, he liked boys too. And yeah, all Greek mythology and all Greek culture, all European cultures, all homosexuality. Even their
Right.
main king Zeus was a homosexual. He used to love go raping kids and stuff like that. And same
Yeah.
thing with the walls of Egypt. I mean, in the hieroglyphs they got sexual, homosexual acts there, and their whole concept about how there's always back and forth between them. There's like the Siamese twins that they can never really eliminate themselves from between the European and the African. Is because of that. The Africans always say that they took it. They were civilized or humanized from the barbarian, saying state from Europe by the Egyptians. At first, there was a law. They had a law that the Europeans were forbidden to enter Egypt. By there was a death penalty. Saying they
Right.
couldn't go there. If you get caught, you get put to death. And eventually that starts winding down, but they were still eventually teaching some of them, like Socrates, Aristotle, and them. They were actually, but when the laws were overturned, they grabbed a few of them that had promise and they schooled them. That's why Aristotle. Why you think that all the secret society, it goes all back to that time of them as well, because how you think that Aristotle was the one that he became Alexander the Greek's, saying mentor, and a lot of other enlightened, saying Jewish or European that were recruited by the Egyptians. They enlightened so many that they went out there with the sole purpose to be able to educate them and put
Hey,
them up on
bro.
the game or the mission. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
bro. Alexander the Gay got to Egypt and he was in heaven. He saw all those digs on the wall.
Hey, bro,
Come
it
on,
all
bro.
goes
You was
back,
like,
bro. But the point I was trying to make, I was really just gonna touch on the beginning of time to read that book. That it was so boring. I was like, man, this thing is garbage. I think that was Van Sertimo's book at that. That I forget the whole point. He said that Alexander was supposedly the prince, right, of I forget to pronounce it, but he was the prince, and then he said that he was destined to, saying to break the knot. It was really like an analogy, but it's the point I'm trying to
Yeah.
make now that comes to mind when you say all this garbage. There's a cleansing that needs to be done, bro. It's
Right.
because
A
there's so
purge.
many
In
points.
the end, yeah, that's what it
Yeah,
is. Yeah, yeah.
A,
it is
a
well not the end.
purge.
The end is to be actually cleansed. But the point is that all you hit so many points earlier about all Africa, Greek, Jewish. So many points, bro. It would be endless to try to go discussing and knocking down every point. Saying a
Right.
discussion there. So to me, it's the hell with all of that. I
No,
don't
no,
care
I was,
about no
yo,
Egypt or
because you
Greek
watch,
or Jew.
because you watch the Sanero. What they teach in Sanero? They teach you that everything that the white man, they got it from them. Isn't that what they teach you on that channel? Everything the
Well,
white dude knows, they got it from them, from the walls. We civilized. I'm saying, and I'm just over here saying, if anybody's listening, bro, like, dude, like, take credit for it all. No, it is what it is.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I
and
mean,
they have to. I mean,
you know,
it's not like they have to. It's like for somebody that's studied in that or right or has been into that, we already know that. So they're trying
because
to convince the
now,
under.
not the slave, like the food, like when we were in slavery and you used to do this thing called buck breaking and blah 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 and all this shit. Okay, cool, they did that to you, but where they get this shit from, bro? Where it's like it go like you said, it goes in a fucking circle. And now we involved in this shit because we were like the new world. We didn't know none about this
It's
gay
not
shit,
like
or
we
maybe we
evolved
did.
into that, bro. We were conquered into. We were
I mean, wait,
saying
but now we
broken.
are.
We were broken down pretty much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
Y
yeah.
el
But now
pedo.
we're here. You know what
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing is that, like, for instance, now everybody, like, I've been like recently, I've been really most focused on politics, and I've been into all that with Trump and Latin America and Europe and all that. Like, to me, all that Hebrew Israelite is garbage, bro. It's always been garbage, but I will
I
indulge
mean?
in brotherhood to be able to get in a circle and discuss it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
Is
yeah,
the
exactly.
believing in the
And that's what I was
Creator
just
does.
saying. I was just saying that, bro. These fools get so deep. Like we're talking about Alisar, right?
Yeah,
Dude, they were so deep, and we the real. Now you
yeah.
doing gay shit, bro. It's always a Kool-Aid behind this shit. That's why I
You know
was.
what I'm
That's
saying?
what we
And
and
there's
Romeo was talking about. We was like, bro, gotta stop taking that Kool-Aid, bro. The more you believe this shit, you gotta start acting like the actual Jewish people. Just
and
let
that's
that
the
shit
point
go
I was
already,
trying to
bro.
make. That was the point I'm trying to make when I was growing up. That I started seeing the blacks in our clique, and then having them see our people in their clique. And the point I was trying to make with that is to the point that you're making now. Is that I started seeing a lot of Mexicans and Latinos being suckered into that. Saying little cult. Saying that they were creating by these homosexuals. The hit, and then those are the hit because they were making insinuation of other camp leaders. So come on, man. I don't need to go to know. No, I don't need to go to every camp to know that, but I mean, it's like I always had an idea about that type of thing because these people are evil, bro. There was nothing spiritual about them cats. All they wanted to be is intellectually, saying, correct
That's what I
or,
mean.
and all of that, bro. There was no spirituality, none of it. And now you see all these brothers with this ox stuff, and they're trying to, like that brother, saying that we used to go on with. I used to feel for him, and I liked it when he broke off from that. He wanted to get back to the roots. You know what I'm saying? Because he said that when because at first he would say he was Northern Kingdom, then he said he was Southern Kingdom, and then you see that other brother Caesar too straight all up into following their ways, bro. I could understand you understanding and then learning some intellectual or religious perspective of what they may speak, because even Christianity, Catholicism, a lot of other religions may touch on some key points that make you like, dang, okay, but they're from they lost in the, like this other brother says, they lost in the sauce. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is that it didn't surprise me to see them cats like, man, these cats all up under them black cliques, because that's all black, this, black, that, black, all that. You know what I'm saying? Even their God is black, and maybe even their, so the ones that they call out to is that phallic God. Is that homosexual, being a Levite priest. You know what I'm saying? He was always praying to that. You know what I'm saying? So,
Hey,
man,
hey,
it's all.
check it
Yeah,
out though. Check it out though, man. I gotta interrupt the flow. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad you guys I'm glad you guys are inspired of you know what I mean, of brother that brother you guys talked about that was some so-called leader, whatever he was. I don't know him from a can of paint. I never even heard of him. But
Yeah,
but I'm glad exposure, you know what I mean? And Mesh, I'm glad that you tap back in. You know what I'm saying? Come through, because we bang on the beast over here, man. You know what I mean? We try to
yeah.
really like figure this shit out. So come through on the next time, man. I appreciate y'all coming on. You know what I'm saying? Because I got to sign out. It's 2 o'clock
Yeah.
local time, and I got things to do. So I appreciate y'all, bro. You know what I'm saying? Any last words, Vlad, Mesh?
My
No,
bro,
salute,
was
bro.
it was deep shit, and glad to have Messi back, and chop it up, and let's get on the politics because this gay shit is all over the place. So
Definitely politics,
you know,
economy, and all the other things that's needed. Mesh.
No, ya está. Descansen, carnales.
All right, peace, bro.
igualmente, bro.
Appreciate y'all.
Peace.
Till next
All right,
time.
but next time, Lele.
For the final word, surround yourself with humans who create their lives, people who change more than they complain, create more than they consume, live actively instead of accepting life as is. Find people chasing down their potential. If you came across this channel and you came across this live, we are those people. We are the change makers, and you might be too. So stay tuned for the next time. Love y'all. Stay up, stay strong, stay vigilant, stay growing, stay changing, stay doing what must be done.
By now, it's because, let me tell you, if you are not a conspiracy theorist by now, it's because you are not intelligent.
They wasn't ready for this back then. They probably not ready for it now. Those that sleep forever gonna be sleep. Those that woke, woke.
Yo soy la reencarnación de tu